for this very important webinar. Good morning once again, one and all, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar on high value agriculture and horticulture. I extend a warm and respectful welcome to our director, EEI, and also some of the Government of India officials are about to join in the middle. And also I welcome our eminent resource persons and officers from various state departments, faculty members of EEI, extension professionals, and all the participants who have joined us from different parts of the country. Processing and value addition has emerged as one of the fastest growing sectors of Indian agriculture and horticulture, offering immense opportunities for income enhancement, then nutritional security, export opportunities for both the farmers and entrepreneurs. And because of the processing and value addition, the shelf life of the produce also can be increased and storage losses can be reduced, as you all know. And today's webinar has been designed to provide very valuable insights into innovative technologies, best practices, processing and marketing opportunities, and successful models in smart value chains. Our speakers and we from the EI are very much confident that the deliberations will enrich our knowledge and inspire all of us to promote the agricultural and horticultural value-added enterprises more effectively. On behalf of the Extension Education Institute, Hyderabad, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our dignitaries, experts, resource persons, and participants for sparing your valuable time to be with us today. I wish the webinar a very grand success and hope that everyone will have an enriching and fruitful learning experience. Thank you. Now I call upon and invite our Director, EEI Hyderabad, Dr. M. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu, to speak a few words about this webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Vasanta. At the outset, I welcome all the participants. That means the officers representing various agri and allied sectors of southern states, and our EA faculty, the speakers of today's webinar, Sri Purushottam Rudra Rajuji, as well as Dr. A. Kiran Kumar Sri. Sorry. The speakers of today's webinar and the officials of a university as well as the Government of India. Can I get the attention? Anyone is from Government of India? So they are busy with the parliamentary sessions. So the today's webinar is on high value agriculture and horticulture. So this webinar has been deliberately planned
Good morning, sir.
So it's glad that we had an opportunity to have one of the two speakers physically present over here. So we are highly thankful from the fraternity of EA as well as the sponsor of this entire ecosystem, Government of India, to Kiran Kumar Gar also, who happened to be the director of Telangana State Seed and Organic Certification Agency, the Government of Telangana, who has readily agreed to deliver the lecture on smart technologies and high value horticulture, whereas Sri Purushottam Garu has agreed to deliver another talk, of course, the first talk on smart value chains for smallholders, making emerging technologies work for the farmers. So as I am narrating the spirit, sorry, crossed 16. So as I am telling, the spirit behind for designing this particular webinar is, if there is any sector which is highly susceptible and vulnerable to the climate vagaries or abiotic stresses under the sky is agri and allied sectors. And we are also witnessing the present El Nino disaster is making a lot of havoc and disrupting and ruining the livelihoods of the farming community because of aberrant or the disturbances in the climatic conditions. So all this is pointing towards we should generate some resilience among the farming community. And it is also understood that no more orthodox conventional way of doing the things in these sectors, for that matter in any sector nowadays, doesn't give any kind of dividend. So we have to onboard the innovation driven, technology driven ecosystem in order to sustain the profits through various means. We have to make the sustainability or the continuation of these professions itself is a jeopardized. So in order to give the life to these sectors, as well as for the stakeholders who are depending on these sectors, so we have to sensitize the last mile or the end user, what kind of innovations or the technologies which can mitigate these kind of either man-made or climate-driven disasters. And we are seeing day in and day out the challenges in our sectors. It may be a market challenges or the soil health or natural resources dwindling, the not only the quantum and also the quality of the natural resources, chronic shortage of the labor, which is driving it towards automation. And quite often we are listening the adulterations. And our farming community don't have the enough knowledge on maintaining the quality standards in the products. which they are marketing, maybe at local markets, regional markets, or the international markets. So quality that matters to attract the remunerative price. And also value addition, post-harvest management. So the entire supply value chain should be more robust and it should be demand driven. So this kind of challenges are being completely enveloped or engulfed the farmers. So as a responsible officers working close to the hearts and souls of the farming community in different sectors, I hope this group who are listening, this webinar comprises of all the sectors. So whatever the inputs our speakers are giving holds good even for the animal husbandry and other sectors are also. So it is our responsibility to sensitize, to enlighten, to empower the farmers to adopt all these innovations and technologies to make towards high value agriculture and horticulture. Again, thanking the today's speakers as well as generously welcoming all the participants. So it seems there are overwhelming response. The number has crossed 80 by this time. So I take the opportunity to continue the proceedings of this webinar. Dr. Vasanta, please.
Okay, sir. Now, the next agenda item in our program sheet is Sri Purushottam Rudraraju Garu, the first speaker of this webinar. He is a food and agribusiness consultant based in Begumpet, Hyderabad. Sir stays in the Leela Nagar in Hyderabad area, and a very brief biodata. He is an accomplished agricultural technology manager with a graduation in agriculture and MBA in technology management. And he has over 20 years of expertise in agribusiness strategy, climate smart agriculture, value chain development, and digital agricultural solutions. Proven ability to design, implement, and scale projects that improve resilience of smallholder farmers to climate risks such as drought, erratic rainfall, and soil degradation are his specialties. He is adept at combining the technology, data, and partnerships to deliver consulting and implementation support in line with global CSA and sustainability frameworks. Recognized for leading multi-country initiatives at ICRSAT that introduced precision farming, climate resilient crop systems, water smart irrigation, and digital advisory platforms. Strengthened farmers' capacities by giving so many training programs, which reached over 3,000 farmers, excellent, and 5,000 entrepreneurs in India and Africa also. So he is experienced in working with the Control Union and ITC on sustainability certification. He is going to interact with us, deliver his session to us on smart value chains for smallholders, making emerging technologies work for farmers. Sir, we are very fortunate to be with us, with all of us, sir. Thank you. You had a very great contributions to the farming community of both India and Africa. So please welcome to the session, sir, and you can go ahead with your presentation.
So before commencement of the topic of the first speaker, so I request all of you please switch on your videos to have a screenshot.
Right, sir. Can I comment, sir?
Yeah. Who is speaking?
Purushottam. Yeah.
Yes, sir, please. Raj
Okay.
Garu?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks to the Extension Education Institute, Dr. Jaganmohan Reddy Garu, Dr. Vasanta Madam, and also my fellow speaker who would be speaking after my session, Dr. Kiran also. So I would like to thank once again for the Extension Education Institute for welcoming me to this particular webinar on high value agriculture and horticulture, especially in the context of whatever the emerging technologies that are coming up, whether it is about the artificial intelligence or the machine learning or the Internet of Things, or in terms of the big data or the data science engineering, and also the business analytics, and also the digital marketplaces and related things actually. In this kind of a context, we need to really take into cognizance of the fact that there are a lot of emerging technologies, but one of the crux of the entire thing is all about how do we leverage this kind of a technologies, and also more important is technology makes more meaningful impacts provided they are adopted by the smallholder farmers. So in this particular webinar, I will be talking about whatever the kind of a technologies that we have over the past 20 plus years, and also being a agriculture technology manager. So I played a very instrumental role in actually how do we make the farmers embrace those kind of newer technologies, and then amplify the impacts of this kind of technologies. So just give me a second to upload the presentation, and then.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we have with us some of the eminent personalities. Narendra Reddy Garu, who happened to be the Telangana Development Forum convener, as well as he is the founder of APO, Niralaya, and he is the protagonist of the natural farming, and he is doing a lot of, he is growing horticulture crops under natural farming. He is the symbol and ambassador of the many innovations in agriculture. Even though he is a non-agriculturist, that is the one beauty of his interventions. And he is doing good interventions in farming.
Namaste to all.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you as the sharing of the PPT has started. We could not be able to see all the faces. Yeah, it's over to Purushottam Garu. Please continue.
Yeah, thank you. Is everyone able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, fine, great. Yeah, thank you. So this is what I was talking about when we talk about something on the high value agriculture or horticulture. One of the important component is about the technology. So, but technology is only valuable and makes meaningful impact provided it improves the farmer's income, and also at the same time, whatever the kind of a risk. Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy was talking about something on the climate change, which is like which we have, everyone is witnessing now actually because of the super El Nino or whatever we have been talking about actually. So, but at the same time, the farmers also need to become very much market oriented. So we need to create a lot of market opportunities with the available, whatever the kind of a technologies or the infrastructure or the platforms that we have. So it is very important, not just about looking at the technology per se, but more important about how do we integrate those kind of emerging technologies into our value chain, so that we may create an enabling ecosystem, and at the same time, whatever the innovations that are there. So how do we really leverage to solve some of the bigger challenges that we are facing? So, but if you look at the kind of a current context, actually, so traditionally what has happened is like we were never selling, actually. We were disposing of the produce that the farmers were producing, and then expecting some kind of a good price. But in the current context, it no longer works. Now it is all about how do we make it more smart, whatever the kind of a insight that we get from the market in terms of the prevailing prices, or in terms of what kind of arrivals are happening, or what level of price discovery that can happen, and orient ourselves in the farmers in such a way that they are able to plan the production system, so that they are able to identify when to market, how to produce, when to produce, more in terms of calendaring their activities in such a way that the produce comes to the market at the right time. But, and also at the same time, a lot of precision technologies, whether we are talking about the soil fertility or irrigation or smart irrigation systems, or in terms of mapping the soil in terms of the variabilities that are there, whether we are talking about the fertility levels, or in terms of the moisture levels, or the topography of the soil, and also in terms of deplacement of the fertilizers and related things actually. So the precision farming, whether it is all about the soil or the water, or in terms of the farm machinery or the equipment that is being deployed on the farm to make actually placement of the fertilizers depending on the variable rate technology. And at the same time, whatever the produce that comes for the harvest, we need to really determine at what stage of the maturity we need to harvest, and also in terms of how do we orient with the market conditions. So the harvesting is becoming very important, because one of the critical components is most of the market players, because it is always a buyer's market. So the buyers are always looking at how do they reduce the output prices so that they are able to buy at a very competitive prices. So we need to really look into, because there is always a way or an approach that most of the buyers take in terms of discounting the value of the produce. So we need to really look into what are the specifications of the produce, so that the farmers are able to deliver the produce in such a way that it is at a very optimum stage, and it is able to meet the expectations of the buyer in terms of the specifications, especially in the context of the ENAM, the electronic national agriculture market. So where it clearly says about the specifications, so the moisture or the foreign matter in terms of the stones or the chaff or the mud or the any kind of a other foreign matter. So how do we actually separate all those kind of things? So we need to really link in. And also one of the important thing, especially in terms of the current context, is all about the packaging. Most of the times what happens is the farmers bring the produce to the markets in a used fertilizer bags or used gunny bags, which really doesn't make any kind of a market appeal to the buyers actually. So those also need to be taken into consideration. At the same time, smart logistics is one of the key component, especially for the perishable produce, because they need to continuously monitor the temperature as well as the humidity. So, and also to extend the shelf life of the produce. So in this kind of a context, we actually talk about something called the high velocity supply chains, so that we are able to move the produce in the quickest possible time, so that we are able to reach the markets on time and realize better prices. So, and also a lot of emerging marketplaces are coming up to enable better price discovery, and also in terms of the buyer discovery, because now what happened with the ENAM system, actually we are able to connect with many number of buyers and limited number of sellers actually. So this is actually helping us in terms of the realizing better price discovery for the produce, a premium kind of a thing. And at the same time, the consumers are also becoming very consumer savvy. So we need to really look into what kind of a preferences of the consumer, because most of the consumers of late are always on the short on the time, and also they want the produce in a convenience form, which is clean, completely clean, properly graded, and also the pack sizes, whatever is the convenience packs or the consumer packs that are there, so that we are able to connect with the retail markets in a very consumer way. So this is where the smart agriculture makes a lot of meaningful impacts on the agriculture production in the days to come. In the next 5 to 10 years, we will be able to see some kind of a radical changes that are happening given the context of agri-stack, or in terms of the ENAM system, or in terms of the lot of kind of things that are happening as an initiative from the government of India, as well as the state governments, and also by the private sector actually. So the key message that I wanted to communicate to all is that about the future agriculture will not compete on production alone, it will compete on intelligence. So the data becomes the crux of the production system. So we need to be very cognizant of the fact that we need to produce what the market requires, given the kind of the dynamics that are geopolitical dynamics that are happening. So it becomes very important to really look into how intelligently we are able to market the produce and look at a global scale rather than localizing or polarizing our production system to the local consumption patterns. And why this really matters for the smallholder farmers, and especially in an Indian context or the African context, is most of the farm holdings are by the smallholder farmers who actually cultivate less than 2 hectares of or less actually. and also on the other side, because of the kind of a production system we have smallholder farmers, fragmented holdings, and at the same time, because of the fragmented holdings and less cooperative approach of sourcing or procurement of the inputs, the production cost is very high. We don't really look at what is the cost per kg of a particular output. Actually, if you look at the kind of a paddy, so the paddy on an average, the cost of production is around 30,000 rupees, and then if you look at an average production of around 2,000 tons, 2,000 kgs, 2 tons per acre, so the average cost is coming to almost like 15 rupees a kg. So which is on the higher side. So we need to really look into how do we reduce the cost of production. So now, normally any kind of the input cost should be somewhere less than 30% of the output cost actually. So suppose if you are considering a minimum support price around 2350, so the cost of production should be something like 6 to 7 rupees per kg. So that is what we need to get into, those kind of a performance indicators or some kind of a KPIs, so that we are able to target our production system in such a way that we are either able to improve the productivity or reduce the cost of production or expand the geographic expanse of the land area, so that we are able to optimize on the input costs. And at the same time, whatever the climate related challenges that are happening, whether it is about the extreme heat conditions or in terms of unpredictable rainfall, or in terms of the inundation that is happening in some of the places where the rainfall is very high, or in some of the situations where drought prevails for a longer period of time, or dry spells prevail for a longer period of time. And at the same time, because of the smaller volumes that the smallholder farmers are producing, so one of the biggest challenge that happens is in terms of the collection or the aggregation kind of a situation. So given this kind of a context, it is really important to how do we actually have decentralized collection centers, so that we are able to reduce the cost of aggregation and or the cost of marketing also, and deliver timely to the markets. At the same time, in terms of the price prevailing or the market intelligence, most of the farmers are completely unaware about what is the kind of a prevailing prices, what kind of a arrivals that are happening, and how do you store your produce and sell at a later date, rather than actually producing and disposing or selling immediately after the harvest is done, or even in some instances it is done before harvest also. So this is one of the things that we need to take into consideration when we design a smart value chain actually. But at the same time, the post-harvest losses, as we have been talking for a long period of time, to the extent of something like 30% of the harvest actually goes as a loss, and the value in value terms, it could be something like 100,000 crore.
Not muted. Hello, sir. Sir, 1 minute, sir. Just
Vasanta,
Madam,
something?
yeah. I just want to confirm whether the audience is able to listen to the speech.
Yeah, it's
See
audible.
the slide.
Yes, madam. It's audible.
Yes, it's audible and
It's audible.
Right.
audible, madam.
Thank you so much. Sir, please go ahead, sir. Purushottam, sir. Hello.
sir, మీరు మ్యూట్ అయింది సార్. పురుషోత్తం సార్. పురుషోత్తం సార్. పురుషోత్తం సార్. హలో.
I will call him.
హలో. సార్ మీది మ్యూట్ అయింది. యువర్ ఆడియో ఇస్ మ్యూటెడ్ సార్. యా. మైక్రోఫోన్ ఇస్.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that. I don't know, for some technical reason. The screen is visible, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, so we need to really look into how do we actually leverage the technology to solve some of these problems and not add complexity to the situation. So, in this kind of a things, we need to really look at that smallholders farmers require smarter value chains, so which is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. So, but we need to really look into understand what is a smart value chain and how do we actually put it into our production system. So it is all about, like, when we talk about something like the value chain, so it is all about how do at each and every stage of the value chain, different nodes, how do we enhance the value right from the pre-production till it reaches the consumer and beyond, actually. But at each and every stage of the value chain, we need to really look into what kind of a incremental improvement that we can do, so that the all the actors in the value chain are able to reap a rewarding position, actually. So in a smart value chain, what happens is, because we do not have a connected kind of a thing, and everything is like we work in silos. So what happens is everything, the data is availability is a challenge. How do we capture it? How do we collect it? And how do we analyze the data and also clean the data, so that we are able to generate a lot of insights within the value chain ecosystem? And also, how do we able to connect the technologies and also the infrastructure, and also in terms of the institutions, whether it is about the government or the private sector or the market players, and also the finance sector, especially the banking institution or the microfinance, or in terms of the value chain finance companies, are also the warehouse receipt kind of instruments. And at the same time, how do we also engage the markets to work together to maximize the incomes of the farmers, actually? So if you look at the typical value chain, we have the production system, the harvesting system, then we have the collection and aggregation, then whatever the primary processing we have been talking about in terms of cleaning the produce, or in terms of making it into a convenient form, so that we are able to realize better prices and also cater to the different segments of the population. So when we are talking about a typical value chain of a groundnut, so what happens is, once the primary processing, cleaning and other things happen, the decortication, so we are able to segregate the groundnut into different things, whether it is about the seed, or also whether it is going for the retail, or in terms of the whatever the value added products like the chicky or the peanut bar, or also in terms of the powder, or the chicky powder or the peanut powder, or in terms of the whatever the roasted peanuts, and at the same time, last comes the oil production, actually. So when you are able to grade the produce in such a way, so you are able to cater to the requirements of the markets in a proper way. And this is where the power of collectivization, or the power of the farmer producer organizations come into play. So this is what the digital technologies are going to help in terms of creating the kind of a visibility that is really required, whether it is in terms of the traceability, or in terms of preserving the identity throughout the supply chain. So just to emphasize on what is the smart value chain and what are the pillars that are driving the smart value chain, one is about the smart production system. So I will be talking in the next slide about the production and the aggregation, the smart post-harvest management, and also in terms of the logistics, especially I was talking about something on the high velocity supply chains, and also about the smart finance. So all these six components may build the smart value chain ecosystem. So what are the kind of a smart production system, especially if you are going to talk about something on the technologies that are there? There are a lot of IoT sensors, the Internet of Things sensors have come up in a big way, whether we are talking about the IoT, the smart climate systems, or the automatic weather stations. All these are sensor built, and also the soil moisture network, which is again a very key component, especially in the kind of a today's context, what kind of a crops we need to take, and in case of any kind of a undue or unforeseen circumstances, we need to really look into what kind of a contingency cropping plans we can think about. And at the same time, satellite imagery now, because of the open policy of the government in terms of leveraging the space technologies or the geospatial technology, we can leverage the satellite imagery to identify the vulnerabilities or the uncertainties that can happen, or also check the fertility status of the soil at a scale, and also what kind of variabilities that can happen, and also leveraging the NDVA and the other related technologies, we are able to identify the stress situations of the crop, the soil moisture levels of the crops, soil, and because of the emergence of the AI technology, so there are a lot of startups and young entrepreneurs who are coming out with AI assistant for designing the crop advisory. Because earlier times what happened was the universities and the agriculture research stations or the ICR kind of institutions, they were giving a very what you call as a blanket kind of a advisory system based on the agroclimatic zones. But now it is the emerging platform is all about how do we personalize actually. So how do we provide a personalized package of practices so that the farmer is able to, based on his resources and the resources and also the kind of allocation of the time and the funds available, he is able to plan in such a way that this is a kind of a personalized package that he need to adopt so that he is able to maximize the outputs and the income realization, at the same time optimize on the input resources deployment. At the same time, the drones are again emerging as a wonderful technology. It is able to do in terms of the imagery as well as in terms of identification of the hotspots, and also leverage it for the application of pesticides and other this thing. So that is actually helping in terms of reducing the pesticide sprays and also reducing the drudgery on the operators who are actually applying the pesticides and the herbicides or related things actually. At the same time, weather intelligence that is coming up from various satellite, the geospatial kind of a thing, as well as the terrestrial kind of a automatic weather stations and related things actually. So they are able to get very hyper local kind of a weather insights, and then the farmers or the producers are able to plan in such a way that whatever the production systems are there, the operations that are happening are properly synchronized based on the weather data, the weather intelligence that is available. Soil analytics is again another kind of a thing. So the farmers are able to plan in such a way that what is really suitable for those kind of a soil conditions, whether it is in terms of the horticulture crops or the agriculture crops, or in terms of the longer duration of the crop, something like the red gram or the paddy or rice, which requires cotton. So these are all long duration crops. So they require a lot of residual moisture or the extended moisture conditions. And at the same time, if you look at the shorter duration crops like the pulses, or like the green gram or the black gram or the lobia and related kind of a thing, pulses crops. So what kind of this thing are vegetable crops? So how do they manage the soil in such a way that they are able to leverage the soil for longer period of times in terms of the utilization of the soil by whatever is the moisture that is available, how optimally they are able to read the soil moisture availability. So what it really results is in terms of the outcomes is all about how do they reduce the input cost so that they are able to balance the fertilizer application, especially in the context of the current situation. How do they actually vary their fertilizer application instead of actually using everything as a basal kind of a thing, rather than they can have top dressing at different stages of the crop. And also they can improve the productivity. I was mentioning about how do you reduce the cost per kg of the production, and how do you build the climate resilience. So the second is all about the second is all about the harvesting as well as the aggregation kind of a thing. So we need to really look into the smart harvesting or the production system. So as I was mentioning, what really the buyer looks at, the customer for the produce looks at whether it is in terms of the moisture at the right stage of the harvest, and also in terms of what kind of a storage system they have, and also in terms of the cleaning or the grading and the related things become very important actually. But at the same time, whatever the primary processing that can happen actually, whether it is in terms of the primary activities that could include decortication or shelling, or in terms of the drying or the proper cleaning, grading and related things, sorting of the produce, all those could be related to the primary processing activities. So we need to have a smart aggregation centers in terms of able to capture those kind of a data and able to communicate to a dashboard or a command and control center where they are able to give proper instructions to the necessary stakeholders so that they are able to leverage the insights that are generated out of it. So pack houses again, has become a classic example in Maharashtra and other areas where they are able to leverage the power of the pack houses, whether it is in terms of the controlled environment or in terms of the grading and collection center. At the same time, the Telangana state also has come out with a lot of these pack houses in and around Hyderabad, the production clusters, so that they are able to leverage on the shelf life of the produce actually. So to give a classic example, Vantimamadi in Siddipet district of Telangana, so they have come out with this kind of a solution of having the farmers bringing the produce to the pack house immediately after harvest, do whatever the kind of a grading that is required, and then immediately able to connect to the retail outlets or the retail hubs, so that they are able to deliver fresh produce to the retail outlets and able to reap premium, because when it comes to vegetables or the fruits, the customers always look for the freshness of the produce. So these packers are able to create that kind of a platform for the farmers to leverage sorting and then able to quickly connect to the market rather than waiting for the next day to experience the auctioning of the produce, which will actually have more lead time for the farmers to sell their produce actually. So then again, FPO aggregation has become one of the important element of the procurement of the supply chain, especially for the government institution like the MAFED or the NAFED for procurement of some of the controlled commodities like the red gram or the paddy or the maize or the onion and related kind of a thing. So the FPOs are playing a very instrumental role in terms of the aggregation of the produce, as well as connecting and storing the produce to the public institutions. So digital weighing, the biometric weighing system has come in actually, so it is able to reduce the cost of procurement, especially for the smaller produce like flowers, like your jasmine or Crosandra or those kind of things, because the volumes are pretty low, something like 50 grams or 100 grams, especially for the smallholder farmers. What happens is the cost of procurement by the aggregator is a bit of a challenge. So to aggregate those kind of a smaller produce, you cannot think about we cannot think about actually having a written kind of a this thing. So the digital weighing scale generates generate based on a biometric kind of a thing, so that the procurement happens at the quickest possible time and able to connect to the markets at the accelerated pace actually. At the same time, QR based also is another technology that has come in actually, and this is being used in some of the places because again, I was mentioning, because the harvesting has to be done at a very high velocity pace actually. So to reduce the kind of a billing, and also at the same time to ensure the traceability of the produce. So it is all about how do you reduce the redundancy in terms of the procurement, so that you are able to procure at the fastest pace of time and connect to the markets at the lowest possible time. And of course, farmer digital identity, which is what has become very important, especially for the export kind of a thing. So this will actually reduce the transaction cost that goes into this thing. So yeah, I missed about the smart post harvest management. So I was mentioning about something on the kind of a extended cold storages. Thanks to the current technology, especially the micro cold storages and the related kind of a thing, that is able to reduce the operating cost of embracing this cold storage technology. Otherwise, traditionally there used to be those kind of a big cold storage like the multi-purpose commodity warehouses, where the storages, cold storages, where they principally used to confine it to storage of something like the tamarind or chilies or turmeric or jaggery, or something like seed spices like the coriander or the cumin or ajwain and related things actually. But now with the kind of a micro cold storages with a minimum capacity of something like 2 to 5 tons kind of a thing, or 10 tons kind of a thing, and also having those kind of a phase changing material, or in terms of conserving the cold energy in the form of a cold vault, those kind of a related low energy kind of a this thing, they are able to reduce the operating costs, almost like what used to be something like 7 rupee 50 paisa per unit to 10 rupees kind of a thing, and the average bill used to come to around 1 lakh to 2 lakh kind of a thing. So it was like a discouraging for the smallholder farmers to leverage those kind of a technology. But with the kind of a micro cold storages, or the decentralized kind of a cold storages, where with 5-ton capacity or 10-ton capacity, now they are able to leverage the cold storage as a service kind, or a cooling as a service kind of a thing, because everything is connected to a mobile kind of a technology. So everything can be monitored, including the weight of the produce that is stored actually. So they are able to remotely manage through a mobile phone actually. So that is the kind of a beauty of this kind of a technology. They are able to substantially reduce the operating cost of the cold storages, and then able to extend the shelf life of the produce, and at the same time, whatever the kind of a market pressure they are going to have, because it need to be quickly disposed in the markets. So because once it is stored in the cold storages, or the micro cold storages, they're able to whatever the initial stress that is going to happen, distress situation that they are going to be able. But once the product is under control, they're able to play with the markets in a very better efficient way. Yeah, ripening chambers also, because of this kind of a technologies, the ripening chambers, especially for banana or papaya, or those kind of a climatic fruits. So they are able to decentralize those kind of a thing, especially in the urban centers, especially for banana, or those kind of a 90% of the ripening is leveraged by the banana, or for the mangoes during the season. But bananas have been made available round the year throughout the country actually. So packhouse is again another technology. I was already mentioning about something at the collection and the aggregation kind of a thing. Sorting and grading, especially if you want to have a graded produce and to target the premium segment, especially the high size of the produce, or the big size of the produce, or the medium size, depending on the markets it has to go. Digital inventory, as I was mentioning, something like the weight of the produce is also being able to, through the load cells that are available. So this is able to reduce the kind of a post-harvest losses from 20 to 30% to less than even 10%. And I had seen several instances where it was below 5% also. One of the other thing is about the logistics actually. So logistics with the kind of a data loggers, whether it is about the temperature or the humidity data loggers actually. So we are able to reduce the logistic cost, and also in terms of the temperature management or the humidity management. So all these kind of a things, especially in the context of the high value agriculture and the horticulture kind of a system, it is very important to really look into how do we leverage those kind of a technologies, so that we are able to build in more efficiency into the supply chains, and also reduce the post harvest losses. At the same time, we are able to track the distance, as well as in terms of the time, and then also in terms of the extending the shelf life of the produce, and also in also certain instances where the high road sales keep happening, especially depending, because most of the times what happens is the price variability that happens across the markets. So to go to the right market where there is a premium, so the GPS system is able to reroute them to the respective markets actually. So optimization is very critical, especially if you look at the kind of a the quick commerce kind of a Zepto or the Blinkit or Swiggy or even the Amazon now or the Big Basket. Those kind of a quick commerce players, how they are able to optimize the routes, and then able to create those kind of a quick the route optimization, so that they're able to deliver any kind of a produce within the 10 minutes kind of a thing. So this is a kind of a radical change that has happened thanks to the kind of a the smart logistic systems. So if we can actually have those kind of a systems even for the kind of agriculture systems, especially at the pack house and the collection systems, then we are able to help the farmers realize better prices. Demand forecasting are the projections and other things also. We need to really understand what is the demand constant for a particular place and what is the kind of a marketable surplus that is available in the respective places, and how quickly we can connect to the respective markets where there is a demand, and at the same time supply shortage that is happening actually. So the glut situation or the shortage situation we can optimally manage with a proper demand forecasting, taking into consideration various factors, both the fundamental factors like the production, the seasonal kind of a variabilities, and also the technical factors also into consideration, given the kind of a global factors. So leveraging all those kind of things, we will be able to reduce the cost of transportation through aggregation. And also at the same time, what happens is the kind of a cold storage infrastructure, or even cold storage are now being used for the storage of the agriculture produce, because at a lower temperatures, the storage pest problem is to a greater extent actually. And also whatever the kind of a spoilage that is likely to happen because of the post-harvest losses, and this thing is being substantially reduced. And also we are able to business to the consumer, and also leverage the whatever the quick commerce technology we have actually. Oh, whatever. Yeah, the markets again is emerging in a different way actually, because of the digital kind of a thing, the price discovery and other things are happening in this thing. So we are now talking about something like the digital marketplaces, but in the days to come, probably we may no longer see physical transaction that can happen. It is all about the digital transaction that can happen, because the kind of a ecosystem that is evolved, whether it is in terms of the grading, segregation, or the segregation, or in terms of the quality assaying that happens at the marketplaces. What happens is the farmers can grade their produce in such a way, pack it in a proper way, pack it in a proper pack sizes, so that they can actually store it in the respective warehouses, and only it is only the document transaction that is going to happen, or the digital transaction that can happen, rather than the physical transaction. But this requires huge investment, especially in the infrastructure, whether we are talking about something like the warehouse receipts, or probably we may actually even foresee something like the smart warehouse receipts, so that digitally there is digitally the e-receipt is generated, and then that is actually presented. So that is the kind of a transformation or the revolution that can happen actually. And also coming to the e-commerce, because of the kind of a marketplace models that are available, so there are a lot of platforms that are going to emerge, and then the farmers and the farm buyers and the sellers can actually leverage those kind of a platforms in terms of the price discovery, or the buyer discovery, or the seller discovery, or the market discovery. So all those kind of things can happen. The institutional buyers are already consolidating, so especially the bigger players like the ADM or the Louis Dreyfus or the Bunge, or those kind of a bigger play, Olam or ITC or Adani, or those kind of a bigger players, they are trying to consolidate their position in such a way they are able to source and connect to the farmers or the farmer producer organization, and then aggregate at a very competitive prices, so that they are able to build transparency in the system, so that the price discovery happens. So it is going to be a win-win proposition, both for the producers as well as the for the sellers, buyers as well as the sellers. Then also the export platforms are also coming up, so that they are able to connect with the international markets. So we have been talking about something like the Alibaba, those kind of a platforms where the B2B kind of a this thing actually, and then Tradeology, or those kind of a international kind of a thing. So B2B trading is between the institutions. So that is again another this thing. Then now the artificial intelligence led price forecasting is also coming. So at a respective marketplaces, what is the kind of arrivals that are happening, and what is the kind of a demand constant that exists for a particular produce at a particular market. So they are able to connect with the markets, and then predict what are the kind of a prevailing prices, especially when we are talking about whether the one of the biggest vulnerable commodity when it comes to the climate kind of a thing is all about comes to the Boinpalli market. So everyone understands that the average requirement is around 240 tons a day actually. So any kind of a supply shortage or the supply shortage or more supply, what kind of a price fluctuation it is going to have, it can be easily predicted actually. So almost like near price discovery can prevail actually, and that can be properly leveraged actually. So this gives a lot of insights for the farmers or the producers in terms of what to grow, when to grow, how to grow, and where to sell, and also what kind of prices that are likely to prevail. Yeah, this is what I was already discussing about something on the smart finance system. So this is all going to be the thanks to the UPI technology. So a lot of payments are going to be digital. So it becomes very easy, transparency, and also we are able to reconciliate any kind of errors that can happen. And also the warehouse receipt finance has become a one of the blessing for most of the farmers, because to reduce the kind of a distress sell, rather than actually they can store it in the whatever the accredited warehouses, like the collateral management services providers, whoever are there, they're able to store the produce and then place the produce and realize the whatever the warehouse receipts, and then the financial institutions can extend the debt or the loan so that the farmers don't have to sell the produce immediately after harvest actually. And insurance, again, thanks to the Fasal Bima Yojana or the other private insurance companies, they are able to understand about the vagaries of the climate and related things, and also the kind of challenges that are there. And they are able to come out with a lot of this insurance or the financial products, and able to extend to the produce, so that they are able to reduce the losses that could occur because of various variables. And supply chain finance, especially most of the companies have got into the supply chain finance, especially the value chain finance. I can take the names of something like the Samunati or Ananya or Kisan and related kind of a thing. So they are actually getting into this kind of a value chain finance, or the ICO credit, or those kind of a thing. They are able to extend those kind of a receivables, are in terms of the stock at the warehouses, accredited warehouse. Carbon credits, again, it's a long way to go. So we are the methodology is being standardized. The DMR, we are the related kind of a things to measure the carbon emissions as well as the carbon sequestration, whether it is in the form of methane emissions, especially for the paddy kind of a crops, where alternative wetting and drying is being practiced to reduce the methane emissions, or in terms of the biochar applications, or in terms of the social forestry, or in terms of the reduction of the carbon emissions. Those kind of things are coming up, but India has come out with their own the carbon credit exchange mechanism. So, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And at the same time, the green finance is again another initiative that most of the financial institution as well as the other companies are this thing. So this also helps in terms of the improving the cash flow. So this cash flow is one of the critical component, especially for the agriculture production system, because especially for the smallholders, because any kind of a cash flow that happens, so the farmers really look into how quickly they can actually turn around their investments actually. So if you look at the paddy kind of a crop, this takes almost like 6 months to 8 months to realize their full money from production or from deploying their investment. But if you look at some of the other crops like the vegetables or the small short duration crops like the green gram or the black gram or soya bean kind of a crops actually. So what happens is the cash flow is better. They can take multiple crops and at the same time meet some of the immediate production or the operational expenditure, like the labor requirements, or in terms of the fertilizers or the pesticides or the inputs and the credit and related things actually. So the cash flow actually helps in terms of managing their cash in a better way, and then they're able to realize better prices. Otherwise, what happens is most of the times the farmers are too dependent on the dealers or the commission agents or this thing, and then they have some kind of a this thing, and also the lot of funds are actually used for some kind of a social obligation or even to meet the food security needs actually. So when they have a proper kind of a flow mechanism, so with smart finance and other things, they are able to plan their production system in a beautiful way, and then also reduce the financial risk that normally the farmers encounter. Yeah, so those are all about the 6 pillars of the smart value chains. Then I will talk a little bit about the emerging technologies that are transforming the agriculture system, and then I will leave it to the audience to come out, the participants to come out with their own Q&A, so that I will be able to address and interact on those kind of aspects actually. So yeah, I was also mentioning about one of the important things, like everyone is talking about, everyone at different platforms, and also if you don't embrace artificial intelligence, you are going to lag behind actually. So this is being embraced by the agriculture production system, especially in terms of having those kind of a crop advisory system. So the chatbot or the agentic AI and other things, so they are able to create those kind of a this thing and provide personalized package of practices. Recently I had an opportunity to design a climate resilient package of practices for some of the farmer producer organizations across the country. So I've done it for wheat, Bengal gram, mustard, maize, rice, cotton, across the country. So this is for one particular company which wanted to build the climate resilience among the farmers. So they engage the farmer producer organization to create this kind of a climate awareness programs. So I was able to create a personalized kind of a package of practices, taking into consideration 30 years of uh, climate data from various sources, and analyzing them, and what are the kind of a vulnerable climate change vulnerabilities that are they're going to have, and what kind of a very localized kind of a practices that we can actually build in, so that builds a lot of climate resilience among the farming communities actually. So this was a very successful initiative that I could take, and then help the particular organization. I'm not taking the name of the organization for being a private led organization, but just to mention about the kind of a use case that would be useful for all of us to really get into the level. How do we create a very personalized package of practices, especially the climate resilient package of practices, so that it benefits a lot of farmers and the farmer producer organization. Machine learning also, especially I was talking about something on the yield prediction, and also in terms of the arrivals, as well as in terms of the supply and demand, are in terms of understanding the demand constant for a particular this thing, and then help the government as well as the extension functionaries to plan and guide the farmers in a proper way actually. Then Internet of Things, I was talking about the soil moisture network, or in terms of the availability of water in the respective water bodies, whether we are talking about the ponds or the canals or the rivers or wherever the storage is happening. So using a simple sonar or a surface tension kind of a sensors, we can actually predict what is the level of water, both in situ, like the soil moisture, leveraging a soil moisture network, or in terms of using a sonar or the echoing system to understand the depth of the bore wells or the tube wells, or wherever there are water bodies like the rivers and the ponds or lakes. You can use something like a surface tension meter to actually assess the level of water availability in the bodies, and then analyze those kind of a data, the data analytics and related things, and how do we actually plan or advise the kind of a crops depending on both the soil moisture as well as the availability of the water in the water bodies actually. And of course, I don't have to mention much about the drones. The beauty of those kind of a drone technology has become so pervasive now. Most of the organizations and the government institutions, everyone, the farmer producer organization, are embracing this kind of a technologies, and also a lot of entrepreneurs are also owning the drone systems and then leveraging it as a drone as a service kind of a thing. Largely, it is all about the spraying applications, but when it comes to the planning of the crop or in terms of identification of the hot spots for the pests and diseases kind of a thing, or imagery, crop imagery, or in terms of the extent of harvesting, are also able to predict the harvest, the produce and the harvest actually. So this is how the kind of a leveraging of whether it is about the robotics or the drones is happening. So now we have the micro robotics that are happening. So they're able to go through the row crops, the smaller spacing like 2 feet distance kind of a this thing, and do some of the cultural operations, whether it is about weeding or removal of the or earthing up or those kind of intercultural operations, or also in terms of the spraying or in terms of the in terms of harvesting or in terms of measuring some of the critical parameters like the sugar content in maize, sugar content in sugarcane, these right stage of harvesting of those kind of a thing. I was also talking about the satellite data. How do we leverage the satellite or the geospatial technologies to understand a lot of parameters, whether it is about the pest and disease, this thing, or NDVA kind of a thing, to understand the stress level or the moisture stress or the abiotic or the biotic kind of stress levels. And also the blockchain technology is used for largely for the traceability kind of a things. Also in terms of the responsible kind of a production system, because I came across a use case where some of the big companies like Michelin or those kind of a tire companies, they are leveraging the responsible sourcing of latex from the rubber plantation actually. So this they are using to ensure traceability and trust in the system, leveraging the blockchain technology. DNA fingerprinting, so I can talk a lot about it because I have a startup, DNA fingerprinting, in association with the Indian Institute of Rice Research, where we are building a DNA fingerprinting technology for rice claims, especially because what happens, most of the popular varieties like the Sona Masuri rice or the Basmati or the RNR or Govindbhog or those kind of a premium varieties, they are being adulterated with inferior kind of a thing. But with the DNA fingerprinting technology, we are able to assure the customers, saying that whatever the rice that is being packed and being retailed to the customers, it is all about DNA assured, so that the consumers are delivered with the authentic source of this thing. So this will enhance the brand value. At the same time, the farmers can realize better prices through premiums that are being passed on to the farmers community. Computer vision is again being leveraged in a big way, especially in terms of understanding, especially the vertical kind of a thing, imagery, which is a bit of a challenge to get captured actually. So the computer vision is being used, whether it is for, and also for some of the challenges of aflatoxin contamination in maize, chilies, or groundnut, which are the vulnerable commodities for aflatoxin contamination, especially which is going for the export produce. So understanding the extent of the aflatoxin contamination, which goes undetected, because otherwise you need to send it to your laboratory and then wait for weekdays to get the results. So instead of doing those kind of a thing, they are able to leverage the scanning technology or near infrared imaging technology, so that they are able to understand, or even the LiDAR kind of a testing. So light detecting and ranging kind of a LiDARs technology, they're able to assess exactly what kind of a damage that is happening to the crops or the produce, and then they're able to reduce those kind of vulnerabilities and also the food safety kind of related things. So leveraging those kind of a thing, they are able to reap better prices for their produce, and of course, thanks to the digital twins actually, so the edge computing and related kind of a things, the kind of advances that are happening are really amazing. Yeah. So Yeah, AI is again, I was mentioning it has become pervasive. So across the value chain, it is helping in terms of the crop planning to decide what, depending on the moisture levels, or in terms of the kind of a soil condition, or in terms of the fertility levels of the soil, or in terms of the weather risk, or in terms of the market demand. So they're able to predict exactly what kind of a planning that can actually be at the pre-production level. And coming to the cultivation level, so there are a lot of things that are happening, whether it is about spacing, especially one of the critical component is because not all the soils are the same, or the farmer's way of doing things. Although every farmer has a unique way of doing things actually, so we need to understand and then exactly provide the insights for optimum spacing actually. So the kind of a population, whether we are talking about R in terms of the kind of a this thing, especially if especially in the horticulture sector, if we are going to talk about something like the ultra high density kind of a thing, we need to really understand what is the optimum spacing actually, because unless and until you are able to unless and until you are able to predict exactly what whether you are able to prune or unable to prune or train the crops accordingly, you will not be in a this thing actually. So that is the where the spacing becomes important. And also in terms of the soil fertility level, so you are able to recommend what is the optimum kind of a nutrient recommendation that this thing. And of course irrigation schedule has become so ubiquitous actually. Now everyone is talking about smart irrigation systems, when to irrigate the crop based on the soil moisture level, or in terms of the soil moisture sensors and probes and other things actually. Harvesting, again, I was mentioning about something on the image technology, or in terms of the the uh, the bricks level and related things, or the maturity of this thing actually. And also marketing, again, I was discussing. So AI has become such a pervasive technology, so that is transforming the agriculture in a big way. Finance, again, a lot of companies are coming about similar to have a civil kind of a system for the farmers also, so they are able to address or deliver the kind of a this thing, because not every farmer is the same. So every farmer has their own abilities, but you cannot all the banking institutions or the financial institutions, they do not treat everyone in a different way. So once you have those kind of a civil intelligence, so you are able to extend the loans personally. Yeah, digital public infrastructure, especially for this thing. So we have a strong digital ecosystem. So we have the digital farm registry that is coming up in a big way. And then we have the AgriStack by the Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Then we have the GIS mapping thanks to the Ministry of Geospatial Resources and the satellite this thing. And then land records have digitized for a large extent. And ENAM, ONDC, One Network, Digital Commerce, or other enablement payments, and also the UPI kind of a thing. So we will be seeing a lot of transformation to the entire agriculture system with this kind of a smart value chain. So this is the kind of architecture that I have proposed actually. So depending on this thing, wherever you can deploy those kind of things, artificial intelligence or intelligence of this thing, or whatever those things which I have all. So what the farmer producer can play a meaningful role is all about providing the data. So whenever they actually engage with the farmers and then transform them into the shareholders, we need to collect a lot of data, not only the personal data of the farmer, but also or the KYC, but also in terms of the digital data that is available with the farmers in terms of the landscape, or in terms of the moisture availability, or in terms of the resources, or in terms of the psychographic psychographic data of the farmers, so that we are able to build better data systems, so that we are able to do a lot of analytics and provide a lot of personalized kind of a things actually. And then business organizations also, because the moment we have the data, we will be able to connect with the markets and also the business organizations, so that they are able to collaborate or do some kind of a partnership, so that they are able to connect with the markets. Service organizations also, a lot of these non-profit organizations are the extension institutions, are the government departments and the other things. They are also able to contribute to this particular farmer producer organization ecosystem. Then technology organizations also can collaborate and come out with meaningful solutions. So all this means is that it is not just about aggregating, but also in terms of the data, the demand for the markets or the produce, and also in terms of what are the kind of a credit requirements that the farmers have, and also in terms of the supply chain. This all is going to contribute to the ecosystem actually. So I just wanted to skip a couple of slides to in the interest of time. So these are the kind of this thing, especially in terms of the high value agriculture and the horticulture kind of a thing. So we are there are a lot of autonomous tractors that are already coming up, and also a lot of robotics. Actually, I was talking about something on the micro robotics or a mini robot kind of a things. Actually, doing a lot of this thing. Then AI farm assistance with the chatbot or the agentic AI system. So we will be having those kind of a thing. Digital twins, especially the AML and related kind of things. Gene editing again with the CRISPR technology, so we are able to come out with improved varieties and very tailor-made or bespoke kind of technologies are coming up actually. And smart greenhouses, especially in terms of monitoring the internal environment of especially the controlled environments. So we are able to remotely manage most of the things, whether we are talking about the temperature or the humidity or the soil moisture, or in terms of the pest pressure or pest and disease pressure in a controlled environment. Then pack houses are also becoming this thing, so the conveyor system, especially because of in the context of the labor availability, the labor shortage, and also the drudgery that is actually going into the labors and other things actually. So so that is actually contributing to poor nutrition as well as the alcohol, social issues, alcoholism and other things actually. So yeah, carbon farming platforms are also coming up. Regenerative agriculture monitoring and other things are also coming up. Yeah, business models. Again, I was talking about drone as a service or custom hiring center. So custom hiring center also nowadays it is all about smart custom hiring center, because the traditional kind of a custom hiring centers really could not really take off in a big way, and then there are not really great success stories around custom hiring centers. But smart custom hiring centers in terms of understanding the customers or the farmers, so that and then actually customizing it or calendaring the operations or the activities the farmers adopt, and then trying to identify those kind of a small equipment or what are the kind of a different kind of a machinery or equipment or tools that are required for the smallholder farmers, depending on the different geographic region or in terms of the crops that are taken up by the farmers. If they can actually come out with those kind of a solutions, so that is how the success of a custom hiring center is going to be in the future actually. Then AI advisory subscription is going to be another this thing. Paper use IoT sensors actually. So these are again other cold storage as a service, aggregation as a service, logistics as a service, drone as a service. I have already market linkage as a service, especially for the farmer producer organization. So this is going to be this thing, and then whatever those kind of a upfront costs, especially if you're going to talk about a drone, something like it ranges between 7.5 to 10 lakhs kind of a investment actually, and having one may not be adequate actually. So it depends on how many number of drones we need to have, and this gives a lot of burden on the farmer producer organization or the farmers as individuals actually. So in this kind of a context, how do we actually use those kind of a drones entrepreneurs so that they can offer the service as a drone as a service kind of thing. That's all from my side. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, the final message that I want to, the future of agriculture is not about replacing farmers with technology. It is all about empowering the farmers with intelligence, connecting them to markets, and enabling them to capture more value from every kilogram they produce. So this is all possible through proper collaboration, and also how do we actually engage the youth with their entrepreneurship skills, and also help in terms of transforming the smallholders into a competitive agribusiness ecosystem. Yeah, thank you from my side.
Thank you, sir. The session is open for discussion.
Sure. Yeah,
sir, I can see some
happy
of
to
the
take questions, ma'am.
Yeah, some of the questions I can see in the chat box. Is there any from Banot Krishna? Is asking that is there any Sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is there any government subsidy or loan to make a warehouse or cold stores for potato? Because in our area, farmers have to take their harvest to nearby district for cold storage.
Can he
Okay.
mention the geographic region where he is coming from?
Yeah. Sir, Krishna sir, are you online?
Madam, question is asked by the Mr. Sudhirdeep Devnath, madam. Actually, I given answer actually.
Okay. Right. So, Subhadeep Devnath sir, I think he's from Odisha or...
Sorry, madam. I am Dhirendra Singh Baria from Odisha, sir. Madam.
Odisha, okay.
Odisha. I am Chief District Agriculture Officer of Balangir District.
Bolangir, okay, fine. Yeah.
It is
sure.
a aspirational districts and
Right.
migration prone district and
Okay.
mostly rain-fed area.
Yeah. I'm pretty aware of the Bolangir, Kandamal, Kalahandi and related areas actually.
Sir.
Right. Okay. So just to give you some kind of idea, so say first is not about the subsidy part for the cold storages. What is really important is all about the post-harvest management practices, because potato requires a bit of a curing immediately after harvesting so that the skin that is on the surface gets matured enough to protect the potato for an extended period of time. So that is one good agriculture practices that need to be adopted by the smallholder farmers or the potato growers. The second thing is all about the cold storages. When it comes to the cold storages, what is really critical is all about the operating cost of the cold storages. So I think why cold storages are really a success story in Agra and surrounding areas, especially in UP, because there is some kind of a subsidy on the power that goes for the cold storages actually. But in Orissa or other states, the cost of power is almost like 7 rupee 50 paisa to 10 rupees kind of a thing. So which is a very high for the operating a cold storages actually. So just to take that into mind before you think about subsidy, 35% subsidy by the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture is there. But if you want to do it on a smaller scale, especially for leveraging the micro cold storages, so you can have to the extent of 50%. So the MIDH has a scheme which is called the smart cold storages, where you are leveraging the Internet of Things for the management of the temperature as well as the humidity. You can leverage those kind of things, which will reduce your operating cost of the cold storages. And at the same time, it is both a off-grid as well as on-grid kind of a thing. You can take the power from the solar as well as from the grid, so that you are able to optimize the operating cost of the cold storage.
Sir.
One
scheme is there, actually, Mukhyamantri Krishi Udyog Yojana, a flagship program of government of Orissa. It is also provide 40% subsidy to the entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. I think, their agriculture. Yeah, the other one is about
I have a question, sir. I have a question. Sir, please explain to B2B trading, business to business trading, and AI price forecasting.
Okay, fine. Right. See, B2B is all about how do we actually connect with the institutions. So but before you actually get into the institutions, you should be market ready. So market ready is all about understanding the exact specifications of your buyer. So the institutions could be Amazon, or it could be ITC, or it could be Adani, or Louis Dreyfus, or Bunge, or Olam, or those kind of big companies who want to connect directly with the producers or the farmer producer organization as institutions. But more important is all about understanding their exact specifications, volumes, how do they packaging and related kind of a thing. So that is how you can, unless and until you embrace the good agriculture practices, adopt them, you should not connect with those kind of institutions, because you may feel that they're trying to exploit the situation. But that is not the context. Unless and until you are prepared for the marketing, you should not approach them. So B2B is unless and until you're to their expectations, right? So that is it. The second thing you are asking about something on AI based price forecasting. So if you can actually whatever the data that is available in terms of the agmarknet.nic.in. So the data about the prices, prevailing arrivals, and all those kind of things, if you can actually collect all the data and give it to an artificial AI engine, it will actually help in terms of what are the kind of arrivals, what is the kind of a demand constant, and how do you what kind of, depending on the kind of arrivals, and it will be able to predict. I wouldn't say that exact, it is almost like near prediction. Did you get it? AI price prediction.
Sir.
Yeah, of course you require a good model for that actually.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. I think
Sir, this is Dr. Vasanta. One small doubt from my side, sir.
Sure, ma'am.
Sir, while explaining the different technologies, you were...
Oh, we lost you, ma'am. I think the last sentence we missed it. No, we missed the last sentence.
Regarding the computer vision, sir.
Right.
Computer vision in grading for what do you call aflatoxin.
Right.
So are there any successful cases, sir, or still is it in research?
No, simple scanners have come, sorting machines like what we have, the Satake or the Buller kind of a sorting machine. So they are using this thing. So indigenously, one person from Coimbatore and then one person from one manufacturer, an entrepreneur from Rajkot has come out with this kind of this thing. So they're able to scan the produce because this is all about optical technology and digital technology and AI as a background engine. So leveraging this kind of things, they are able to come out with those kind of things. They are able to scan this thing. So, and also some of the entrepreneurs are trying to leverage near infrared imaging technology so that it is able to distinguish between a good one and a bad one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it available for sale, sir? This particular
technology? It is available. No?
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you. Any more doubts from the participants?
Yeah. In fact, I have one observation. Purushottam sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Please go ahead, sir.
So now we are targeting near to 30 US dollars economy 2047. That is Viksit Bharat.
Right. So, yeah.
Of course, even it is not 6 to 7% also. 4%, 4 to 5% only. The growth rate of agriculture.
Right.
Even all allied sectors put together.
Right, sir.
And now you have surfaced or narrated many smart technologies or how a robust supply value chain ecosystem.
Right.
And smart technologies.
Right, sir.
And here the paradox is day by day the small and marginal land holdings are getting increased.
Right.
Our target is 30 US dollars economy. At present, we are only $4 trillion economy.
Right.
And we are aiming for the $30 trillion economy.
Right.
And the contribution of agriculture is very meager. That is hovering between the 4 to 5%. But whereas when we look at the manufacturing in service sector, those are 28 to 32% of the contribution.
Right.
So what kind of support all these smart technologies or the robust supply value chain systems can we ensure the improvement in the growth rate of agriculture sector in this scenario of achieving the 30 trillion US dollars economy by 2047?
Right, sir.
And what could be the some remedial measures we have to make?
Adopt. Yeah.
We adopt, or we have a set of smart technologies, no doubt about it.
Right.
But as I told, the adoption rate is not there that much.
Right, sir.
Yeah. Then how we can address that issue?
Sure, sir. I think, you have given a very vision for the future pathway for the entire agriculture. This thing. So, given that kind of a context, how do we gear up to meet those kind of a thing? And this is where we need to really get into those kind of a high value agriculture and the horticulture production system actually. And this is where the farmer producer organizations are going to play a meaningful role. Although most of the farmer producer organizations are currently having a lot of challenges, I would say, because for ensuring the sustainability of their own financially and other things. But in the days to come, once they understand that the business models and also how do they actually help, because farmer producer organization, the role is all about how do they leverage the emerging technologies and then connect the farmers to the market. But what is happening is they are so overwhelmed with the kind of a production or in terms of the governance and related things, they are not able to focus on the business related things for various reasons, whether it is all about the building the capacities or in terms of focusing on what they are supposed to do rather than focusing on the non-core competencies of the farmer producer organization. But if they can actually embrace those kind of things, because institutional innovation is a wonderful model, and in the future it is all about the institutions which are going to drive the business rather than it is all the smallholder farmers. The smallholder farmers, their core competency is all about improving their productivity. But when it comes to the farmer producer organization, it is all about connecting to the markets and reaping premium prices for their products, actually, produce. So this is where we need to really focus on, especially the current context is all about market orientation as well as the engaging the youth in agriculture. See, most of the youth is getting shied away by the current system because of the various reasons, whether it is about the farm profitability or in terms of the involvement of the drudgery kind of a thing, or it is the variabilities that are occurring. But over a period of time that gets consolidated, and then the youth will understand what is the perfect pathway to realize better incomes for their own farmers, and then how do they feed the future actually. So I would envisage in that perspective rather. I know the challenges are there, but definitely the solution would emerge over a period of time. So,
Sir, one more question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Vasanta. Thank you.
Sir, one more question from Mr. Varun. So he's appreciating you, sir. It is an insightful session. Thanks. I was wondering how efficient are drones or equivalent technology resource for watering or irrigation, of choice of plant or crop, etc. So he's asking for the extent of efficiency of the drone.
Yeah, but again, the timing is very important. Actually, the drones are very efficient. So the drones are also emerging technology. But you need to appreciate the fact that any kind of a technology, initially there would be a lot of hiccups, a lot of challenges, a lot of resistance from the adopters. So once we understand those kind of a thing, but the entrepreneurs are the kind of a people who will not sleep unless they transform the entire this thing actually. So once the drones, if they can, currently that are being used only for the spray application, and if you look at the kind of a utility time or the utilization time of the drone, it is only during the early days in the day or late in the evening actually, because they need to manage the wind velocity and other things and also those kind of things. But it is possible to leverage the drones because the cost of operation of the drone, the battery change, because it only lasts for 20 minutes or 30 minutes kind of a thing. So given that kind of a thing, they need to really look into whether the drone would be meaningful for them or not actually. We have to understand both the limitations, but technology over a period of time will dilute the entire limitation of any kind of a technology.
Exactly, sir. Varun, sir. And one more thing, as of now, I don't think the drones are used for some irrigation purpose. They are, as sir has rightly said, they are used for spraying and other such things. And there are so many ground-based tools that are used, with sensors that are used for irrigation. Right. Like, for example, in the state of Karnataka, under RKVY, they are providing almost 50% subsidy for different companies.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, spraying robots are being used actually, especially for the cotton crop. See, when it is at a nursery stage or initial stage, because the life-saving irrigation is very critical. So when it comes to those kind of a critical irrigation that need to be applied to the crops, especially the first 30 days kind of a thing, the micro robot is able to go through the fields and then apply like it is like a manually making the plant drink water actually. So those kind of things are happening actually on a very limited scale, but it is only a matter of time that can talk about the success of the technology.
Sir, in our university also with Ag Hub, with
Right,
MOU
ma'am.
with Ag Hub, we have developed such kind of robots, sir. They
Right,
are
ma'am.
used for spraying and also, as you said, for intercultivation, grass cutting, etc.
Correct.
They are released among farmers' fields also.
Right.
And that particular robot is in display in the Arisa lab
Right,
in
ma'am.
ARI, Rajendra
Right.
Nagar.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
it is like necessity is the mother of invention actually. So depending on like the application, the farmers or whoever, they are all coming out with those kind of a jugaad solutions actually. So robot could be at a higher level, but even for irrigating the crop, farmers are using it actually because it is a necessity for the farmers actually.
ఏం చేయాలి క్వశ్చన్లు అడగాలంటే దీంట్లో జైన్ కావాలంటే
Sir, Ramesh sir, do you have any doubt? Or kindly mute your audio.
మేడం
Sir.
హలో
Yes,
మేడం
sir,
వన్
please
డౌట్
go
మేడం
ahead.
సార్ వన్ డౌట్ సార్
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, one doubt. Sir, what is the nowadays advanced artificial intelligence is a bigger role, most of the person told for a bigger role of artificial intelligence. Is there accuracy, is there, sir, artificial intelligence is possible for in agriculture field?
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning about the data. The more you the more you provide the data, allow it to learn more, it will be at a near kind of accuracy. One of the biggest challenge in agriculture is the availability of data.
That is the important, no, sir?
Yeah, which is very important. But what happens is because now the governments and everyone has realized that data is very important. Data is the next oil kind of a thing. So we need to really see how best we can actually capture the data and provide it to the like wherever the data sets need to be made available. So unless and until we make the data available or the data sets available, we cannot build the models around it actually. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, madam.
Thank you, sir. Ramesh sir. Any more
Sir,
doubts?
namaste, sir. Sir, namaste, sir. This is Rajani from Chittoor district, sir. Sir, I am from Vijayapuram Agriculture Officer, sir. I have a doubt in carbon credit, sir. How it is useful? Our mandal is in full of Rabi season, paddy area is built in it, sir. So we can use this carbon credit, sir.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned about the carbon credits. It's all about, and you're talking about paddy. Actually, wetland paddy emits a lot of methane emissions. So reduction of methane emission also can contribute to carbon credits actually. So the especially from methane emissions, if you can reduce it, is around $20. That is the prevailing carbon credit actually. Okay, so yeah, it is, but you require scale actually because the whatever the methodology, the implementation may cost you around almost like a 60 lakhs to 1 crore kind of a investment.
Sir, I need to know about how we can get income, sir. Farmers are going to reduce the carbon emission by using the what you told that
right
charcoal addition,
right.
And we can do, but how can we get credit? Where we can get farmers? How
See,
can we approach?
I think carbon credits for especially agriculture kind of a thing can qualify in the gold standard actually. So you need to register as per the gold standard actually. The registries are there actually, And then what happens is the profitability, just to give you some kind of idea how it happens is actually whoever is buying, there could be a pre-sales also that can happen. So pre-buying can happen by the providers also. Like some of the international companies or those things, they actually have some kind of a pre-buying arrangement where they actually take 50% of this thing, and then 10% goes to the service 40% is by the service provider. No, 10% is by the service provider. The buyer actually takes 40%, and then the 50% something like 2 credits to 3 credits. So $20 into 3 is around $60. So 60 into 90 or 60 into 100 rupees if you take. So that is something like 6,000 rupees is the income that the farmer can generate. Just for your information, these are all not the exact kind of a thing, but a rough ballpark figures of the calculation. Anyway, in the interest of time, I will share my number to the madam so that in case if there are any kind of a things, you can always reach me on WhatsApp, or you can also write to me also.
Sure,
Is
sir.
it
We'll
okay,
share
ma'am?
your number in the
Thank you,
group.
sir.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Reddy
you,
garu.
sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kiran Garu. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent insights on role of drones in reducing the pesticide dosage and also the labor drudgery, and the importance of soil analytics that you have explained in the which helps in leveraging the soil moisture in both the short duration and long duration crops. You have explained it very clearly, sir. And also your inputs on smart aggregation and digital weighing machines and QR-based procurements and performance of pack houses in either Maharashtra or in Vantimamidi in Telangana, and also the micro coal. These are all eye-opening to all of us, sir. And at the end, the business models that you have given, that you have proposed for smallholders, and also your final message is very much thought-provoking to all of us. So thank you for joining in this webinar and sharing your experiences and insights, sir.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And also, I'll share the presentation to you over WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, audience, so I'm very happy that almost the audience count has increased to 132. So this says about the importance of this topic in the current arena. And now we have with us the second speaker and a very experienced person, Dr. A. Kiran Kumar, who is working as director in Telangana Seed Organic Certification Agency, Hyderabad. Now he is with us to speak on smart technologies and high value horticulture. So sir is very modest. He won't keep any resumes or biodata to read out before the audience. Hence I request Dr. Kiran Kumar sir to give a self-introduction and go ahead with his presentation.
Yeah, otherwise I will give the brief description about Dr. Kiran, who is a very noted, a seasoned speaker on any topic related to the horticulture in particular, of course, the entire canvas of the agriculture in general. Earlier he worked in the Pandana Lakshman Babuji Horticulture University in various capacities. But the most pivotal one is a director of research who has steered the destiny of the horticulture research, which is paving the dividends now in the presently reformed university. And also now he is the architect of the entire changing the canvas of oil palm cultivation, not only in Telangana, but across the country. He is one of the key pillars for crop diversification. And his inputs were very much taken by the government of Telangana in popularizing the ecosystem or in creating a conducive environment for taking up the oil palm cultivation. I am the eyewitness for that. because in Nalgonda, just yesterday only, one of my close relatives has called that he is removing the sweet orange. Once upon a time, it is the traditional district for the sweet orange. Now the entire sweet orange is being replaced by the oil palm crop, and the credit goes to the Kiran, who is at the helm of affairs. Government, of course, government, but you are in the team led by you is in the forefront. Then, of course, the government of Telangana is very vocal and rhetoric about the popularization of the IPOM as part of the crop diversification. He has a good experience and good exposure and good knowledge in the changing dynamics in the agriculture and horticulture, and he is the fittest man to deliver the topic on smart technologies and high value horticulture as part of this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Kiran, for accepting our invitation and giving your valuable time. Now the floor is yours. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Kiran, please. Presentation. Yeah. Rajgaru? Yeah, it is shared. Repeat. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Narayan Reddy Garu, Purushottam Garu, and everyone on the floor. A very good morning to all. Today, Purushottam sir almost he has dealt because the smart agriculture or horticulture, the concepts will be the same for both, whether it is horticulture or agriculture. But the only difference between agriculture and horticulture is a low volume crop with high value. That is very, very important. And almost all the crops in horticulture are highly remunerative, provided the technologies are changing. Nowadays, we are talking about high density, ultra high density and all. But farmers should be very, very careful when adapting technologies like high density and ultra high density, because traditional cultivation is different from high density and ultra high density. So some farmers have failed by going for ultra high density cropping because they have not followed the management practices. So that is very, very important. So manage post harvest. These two are very, very important. With great difficulty we produce, but if we are unable to present it properly in the market, we will not get the proper rate for it. So nowadays, agriculture or horticulture, it is purely marketing. If we are marketing, we are successful. Otherwise, simply by producing and giving it to somebody else, I think it won't be remunerative. So that is a key point for success in either horticulture or. So if we look at horticulture, we can directly say a solution to climate change. Next.
Yeah, Rajgaru, next.
Acha, cut off right this. Okay. This is a fact what we can for millions of smallholder farmers in India. Farming is becoming increasingly uncertain due to erratic rainfall, rising temperatures, droughts, and pest outbreaks. Many farmers are still struggling, though we are talking about smart horticulture or agriculture. I think everybody has to accept this. Because now we are talking about super El Nino, and we are asking not to go for paddy or the traditional crops what they are going for, and we are talking more of crop diversification. Finally, whatever we talk about, ultimately the farmer has to get the remunerative price. Then only they will go for whatever the crops we suggest from the government. So if we look at smart horticulture, soil testing and balanced nutrient management, this is very, very important, where Government of India as well as Government Telangana are concentrating. Soil and water conservation, crop residue mulching, this is very, very important nowadays. Crop diversification, which is being talked more about. Drought resilient varieties. This is where the universities need to stress. They need to work on biotic and abiotic stresses and the root stocks, which can withstand the biotic and abiotic stresses, and which is a prominent area where the universities can stress and work out and help the farmers. And on-farm water harvesting, this is very, very important, and use of bio fertilizers and pesticides. agronomic and tree planting, agroforestry, and low cost mechanization and small equipment, because most of the farmers are small holding farmers. Then the smart agriculture or horticulture, which is digital advisory tools. Next. Okay, if we look at smart, what is smart farming? We are talking about smart agriculture or horticulture. It is nothing but use of communication tools like ICT and improving the productivity, quality, and to reduce management and labor costs. Because whatever we talk, everything revolves around these things only. Labor is one of the primary constraint, then productivity, quality, and marketing. These are the things when. So Purushottam sir was talking about data. Data is very, very important. Smart farming data, the information on the growth environment and growth conditions that is produced or utilized in the course of operating smart farming, and that is expressed in forms such as numerical data, text, or images. So this is very, very, until and unless we have this data, we cannot use the tools which are existing, whatever we talk about AI or IoT or what blockchain technology, whatever it is, but the preliminary data has to be there, which can be provided only by universities or the departments, Department of Agriculture or Horticulture. Next. So data is very, very important. So if we look at climate smart horticulture, the integration of sustainable practices like smart technologies and resilient crop systems, all this we are talking about, which will reduce the greenhouse gases emissions and all. So now we have been talking, but now it is the time really to implement all these things so that the next generation will have a safe land in their hands to go for cultivation of anything, horticulture or agriculture crops. So that is very, very important for us because nowadays, if we look at the carbon content of the soils in Telangana, it is very, very low. So whatever 0.1 maybe it is, but if such is the case and it is going to continue the similar way, even whatever inputs we add like fertilizers or whatever it is, they are not going to work. So ultimately, the farmer is going to lose. So as the universities and departments, it is our responsibility to see that the carbon content in the soils are being increased by using the technologies or whatever is available in our hands. So if we look at it, enhancement, productivity, then nutrition, which is very, very important, and income security. These two are very, very important: food, nutrition, and income security. So that is very, very important nowadays. Nowadays, we are not only talking when it comes to horticulture, it is nutrition. So that is very, very important. We are talking about vegetables, we are talking about fruits, we are talking about medicinal plants. So plantation crops, all these things. So all these comes under nutrition and also income security. These are very, very, very important for farmer. At the same time, there is also risk factor. For example, if you take mango was a remunerative crop 10 years back, but now since 10 years, if you look at it, due to some other reasons, due to hailstorms or due to anything, high temperatures or whatever it is, farmer is unable to take the crop. And also the other thing is fruit fly. If we look at in Telangana, 10 years back, the fruit fly was very minimal. But now after 10 years, if we look at the status of fruit fly, it is perpendicularly increasing. And each and every fruit crop is affected by the fruit fly. So this we visualized in 2012 and we made an animation. So like using the smart technologies where if we keep on telling fruit fly will damage the crop, that video we will be showing it later. That will not immediately taken by the farmer. But if we can make a video of it and we can show what is the importance and how it is damaging and all, that will be easily understood by the farmer. That is what we are doing. And now our government also, Department of Agriculture, Dr. Gopi, who is the Director of Agriculture, is using the AI technology and coming out with different concepts of if it is oil palm, how we can increase the yields, how it is useful to the farmer. That a video also will show you. So that way we are trying to use the AI technology and all to easily penetrate into the farmers. Next. So if we look at climate smart, the integration, this is completed. Yeah, importance of smart agriculture. So, yeah, if we take the three pillars that are considered under climate smart horticulture, one is mitigation, other is adaptation, then productivity enhancement. These are the three pillars for any crop which are required. Mitigation is very, very important. How we can mitigate the existing. Suppose now we are talking about super El Nino. Do we have any action plan? Only we are talking about crop diversification, and we are giving different windows. Like if there is no rain in June, July, the windows are closed and go for other crops like millets and all. But is the farmer really prepared for it? We don't know. Because again, the farmer who is used to the traditional crops, whether he will immediately convert into those crops is also a question mark. So one scope where farmer can immediately adapt is vegetable crops. So that we need to encourage, which is remunerative, because already the farmer who is going paddy will not go for a crop which is less remunerative than that. So we need to encourage those crops which are ideal, fitting into the El Nino effect, and which can give him more remunerative crops. This is what we need to do, like drought tolerant vegetables, all those things. So this is how we need to understand the situation, and we need to educate the is not there for that 10 acres. And we need to assess and tell him, okay, for 2 acres, you are comfortable. So go for that 2 acres with the crops which require the water, and the remaining 8 acres, if there is an opportunity, go for cultivation, or else keep it idle. This is how we need to tell him the facts. Like, for example, because I am the special officer for oil palm also, most of the people say oil palm can be grown anywhere, but the only condition, it has been proved in entire Telangana that oil palm comes up very well. But one condition is, even in summer, it requires water. So wherever the farmers are having the facility of irrigating even in summer, they can comfortably go for oil palm. For example, most of them will say that when we are going for paddy, why not oil palm? Because paddy will be grown in rainy season as well as winter season. But when it comes to summer, if there is availability of water, then only farmers will go for it. So that basic thing we need to remember if we are going for oil palm or recommending oil palm for the farmers. In summer also, there should be a provision of irrigation for oil palm. This is very, very important. So for smart climate horticulture, these three are the main. One is mitigation. Then once we mitigate it, then the concept of adaptation, then productivity, how we can enhance it. These three are the very, very important points which we need to consider, because horticulture is always high value and high investment area. So that is very, very, and we cannot give a chance for the farmer to lose the income. Next. Yeah, this is one of the concept where Purushottam sir also was discussing net zero horticulture. Like we need to use renewable energy integration, like replacing diesel pumps and fossil-based heating systems with solar, wind, and biogas options, reduce carbon intensity drastically. Then sustainable input management, like switching to slow release organic or bio-based fertilizers and pesticides. Then circular economy approach, like utilizing crop residues for compost, vermiculture, or biochar production, everything. So this is how we need to manage this. All these come under smart horticulture. Then low carbon post-harvest techniques like cold chain powered by clean energy. Like nowadays we are talking about solar cold units also. So those things can be utilized for storing of the fruits and all. Then packaging is very, very important, because production is one part. The packaging and presenting it to the consumer is very, very important. There also we need to see that biodegradable material is being used and effective logistics to reduce post-harvest losses and emissions. Because if we look at post-harvest losses, they are going up to 30 to 40%. Best example is when I was student, my teacher taught me that the post-harvest losses in horticulture are 30 to 40% accepted. But when now I am a teacher after 35 years, even now I am saying the same thing. The post-harvest losses are 30 to 40%. So what is that we have done during this period to cut down this 30 to 40%? Nothing has been done. If that 30 to 40% post-harvest losses are cut down, that is equal to production. So that is one point where we need to concentrate, and the smart, like the AI technology, block technologies, these can be utilized like cold chain and all to reduce this post-harvest losses. So this is where one point where the universities need to interact and see how best the post-harvest losses can be reduced. Next. So now if you look at from traditional to advanced horticulture, like when what started as earlier we used to use cattle used to be there, plows used to be there, everything used to be there. If we go to villages, every house has the cattle and all, but now everything is missing, and it has come to tractors, and the total agriculture or horticulture scenario has changed. So that we need to accept it, and
Raju sir, మన side నుంచి ప్రాబ్లమా?
yeah. అక్కడ చేయాలి కదా. Yeah, next one. Yeah. So am I audible?
Audience, please
Yes.
respond.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, fine. So now earlier lecture was also on robotics, artificial intelligence, drones, and in horticulture the other concept is vertical farming. This is very, very important, because land is a constraint, it will never grow. In the coming days, vertical farming will be one of the key inputs where we need to meet the demand of the food for the population which is increasing in the not only in India, entire world. So vertical farming is one of the subject where there is a lot of scope for vertical farming, particularly for vegetables. Then like automated transplanting machines now, and why this automation has come is keeping the constraints of labor. So nowadays, Purushottam sir also was talking about robots for transplanting and all. So this is how the automation and smart horticulture is being increasing day by day. And it is not new. It has been there. Now it is coming into existence because of the serious issues which are being faced by the problems faced by the farmers. So IoT technology is all allowed to monitor the plant location, health, and growth stage in real time. This is very, very important. The sensors and all what we are using to monitor the moisture levels, to utilize the best available water source to more area. So all these things are coming into practical implementation by the farmers also, because farmers earlier they were only going for flooding because of the constraint of water. Now they are going for irrigation. Now they have come to the next level of automation. Again, now they are talking about fertigation along with the drip. So this is how the necessity has created everything, and farmers are going for the technologies whatever are available in horticulture. And if we look at the major issue, that is weeding. So for weeding, the farmers are going for mulching. So that is how farmers are managing in horticulture by using all these technologies. Next. Yeah, drones, sir was talking about drones are used for sprayings and all, but not for irrigation and all. They are also used in shade polyhouses to monitor the drones. They keep on moving in the polyhouses and they detect the stress. They will not identify what exactly the problem is, but they will detect that the plant is facing some problem, and the person who is looking after that polyhouse can directly go to the plant and see whether it is due to moisture stress or any pest or disease. This is how the drones are being used in high-tech horticulture, like polyhouses and all, cultivation of vegetables, the salad vegetables like lettuce and all, or the other crops which are being capsicum and all, tomato, and which are being grown in polyhouses. So the most effective way of using the drones in polyhouses is to see where exactly the stress is. And why that stress is has to be determined again by the concerned person. But it will really look, if we are going in a vast scale, then the drones will clearly tell us at this point there is an issue, you please go and attend. So that is how drones are also being used apart from sprayings and all. And nowadays one Krishivas app has come into play in Telangana. They are working on oil palm on pilot project in Khammam Kottagudem area. They take the satellite pictures and all, and they see where exactly there is a stress in the oil palm. So by detecting that, they will intimate the farmer that at this point there is a problem. You please go and attend that plant, whether it is due to stress or any rhinoceros beetle loss there or any other issues are there, you please go and attend. So in that way, it is timely giving us an advice for the farmer to see and attend and reduce the losses. So beyond pest detection, drones enable precise treatment application. That is what spraying. So that is very easy nowadays. Spraying for crops like chili. Only thing is the entire ground cover, if it is there, then the wastage of the chemical will not be there. Next. Real-time data, particularly the soil moisture, nutrient levels, and environmental condition. This data will be analyzed and all sort of algorithms and all. After going for it, we can come out with a precise recommendation of the critical stages of irrigation and also that the effective and judicious use of water will be there, which is very, very important nowadays, utilization of water, available water. So from per drop, more crop, the concept what we are talking about can be taken up with these sensors and all. So exact the moisture level at to what depth it has to be there, so where it has to be there, and at what time it has to be there. All these things can be detected, and the critical stages of the plant, what we know at flowering stage, what should be the moisture levels, at fruiting stage, what should be the what moisture levels, and at what time we need to stop the water. All these things can be easily monitored by using the sensors. So, and another concept nowadays, what we are talking about is precision farming. Precision farming also, the same, all these concepts put together come under precision farming, where we can increase the yields by 20 to 30% and cut down the waste by 40% to 60%. So this is very, very important, precision farming, and this can be done by using the technologies, whatever are available with us. Then next part is smart irrigation systems, the drip, sprinklers, and automation. Almost farmers are using it, particularly in Telangana area. And for oil palm, it is a mandate that without drip, we will not permit them to go for oil palm, except few places in Kottagudem, Bhadradri, and Khammam area where there is sufficient water, but they also have to later on, we insist them to go for drip irrigation. So drip irrigation has become a key role in horticulture crops. Next. So another aspect where we are into smart horticulture is biotechnology and genetic innovations, where we are trying to come out with like speed breeding and all these concepts are used, and we are coming out with new varieties within short time. Because generally traditional breeding takes a lot of time to come out with varieties, but using this GMO, all these things nowadays, with the speed breeding concept techniques, we are coming out with varieties very fast. So in that, when we are coming out with the varieties, the concepts which we need to remember are whether the variety which is being released is for the disease pest resistance or for drought resistance, or whether it is for nutrition. So these things we need to understand, and for what purpose we are going out for a breeding, that has to be defined in the beginning itself. Simply for the sake of yield, if we are going to come out with n number of varieties, there is no point in going for breeding. So either we need to go for either, suppose there are biotic stresses, there two saline soils are there or acidic alkaline soils are there, and there we cannot grow any vegetable. So there we need to come out with suitable rootstock which can withstand that salinity or alkalinity or the high temperatures and all. Then if that rootstock withstands, on that rootstock we can go for the required variety which we want to grow. For example, if we take avocado, generally the flowering in avocado is in summer, peak summer, and the entire flower drops. Even though fruit sets, the entire fruit drops. So for that, some people have taken the rootstocks from Israel, which can withstand high temperatures, and they are grafting the scion on those rootstocks, which can withstand high temperatures. And if that is a success story, then avocado can be grown in Telangana very comfortably. Those trials are going on, and that is done by private one company. But that's already it is proved in Israel. Now they are testing it in Telangana. Next. So this is what we were talking about, all the other AIs, drone technology, blockchain technology, and all those things put together. In future, we need to go for vertical farming and soilless cultivation, where there are extreme temperatures, extreme climates, like too hot temperatures or too cold temperatures and all. For vertical farming is the best way, where yields can tend to increase for 10 to 20 times with 95% less land and water supporting urban food security. So this is the next coming future subject. Then another subject is hydroponics, growing plants in nutrient-rich water rather than soil, because we cannot depend on soil in the coming days, keeping the population also in view. Then advanced greenhouse technologies, where the AI and automations have been successfully being utilized, and some of the farmers are growing capsicum, tomato and all, where the period longevity is increased and the availability of the crop will be increased when compared to the open areas. Next. So this, you can just see this video Telangana department has developed, which will be very catchy for the farmers. Sound రావట్లేదా?
వస్తుందండి.
Yeah.
ఇట్స్ క్లియర్.
సౌండ్ రావట్లేదు సార్.
సౌండ్ రావట్లేదండి.
ఓ వీడియోనా?
వీడియో.
సౌండ్ नहीं आ रहा है सर.
ठीक है, 1 second.
ప్రపంచంలో అత్యధిక ఆయిల్ ఇచ్చే పంట ఇదే. మన దేశంలో వాడే పామాయిల్ లో 90% విదేశాల నుంచి వస్తుంది. అదే మన రైతులు పెంచితే దేశానికి లాభం, రైతుకి లాభం. ఆయిల్ పామ్ సాగుకు తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వం పూర్తి సపోర్ట్ ఇస్తుంది. మొక్కలు, డ్రిప్ ఇరిగేషన్, ఎరువులకు సబ్సిడీలు ప్రభుత్వం అందిస్తుంది. దీనితో రైతుకు మొదటి పెట్టుబడి భారం తగ్గుతుంది. ఇంకా ముఖ్యమైన విషయం ఏమిటంటే ప్రభుత్వమే ఆయిల్ పామ్ ఫ్యాక్టరీలను ఏర్పాటు చేసి రైతులు పండించిన పంటను నేరుగా కొనుగోలు చేస్తుంది. రైతుకు ప్రభుత్వమే బైబ్యాక్ అగ్రిమెంట్ ఇవ్వడం వలన మార్కెట్ టెన్షన్ ఉండదు. మొదటి 3 సంవత్సరాలు నేల ఖాళీగా ఉంచనవసరం లేదు. అంతర పంటలు వేసి అదనపు ఆదాయం పొందవచ్చు. మొక్కజొన్న, పప్పు ధాన్యాలు, కూరగాయలు వంటి పంటలు వేసుకొని ఖర్చులు కూడా కవర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఈ పంటకు నీటి లభ్యత చాలా ముఖ్యం. డ్రిప్ ఇరిగేషన్ తప్పనిసరి. నీటి వనరులు మరియు అనుకూల వాతావరణం ఉన్న ప్రాంతాలలో ఈ పంట చాలా బాగా పెరుగుతుంది. 4వ సంవత్సరం నుండి ఆదాయం ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. ప్రతి 10 నుండి 15 రోజులకు కోత వస్తుంది. దీనితో రైతులకు నెల నెల స్థిరమైన ఆదాయం లభిస్తుంది. ఆయిల్ పామ్ సాగు అంటే ప్రభుత్వ సపోర్ట్, గ్యారంటీ మార్కెట్, స్థిర ఆదాయం. మీ దగ్గర నీటి వనరులు ఉంటే ఈ రోజే ఉద్యాన అధికారులను లేదా వ్యవసాయ అధికారులను సంప్రదించండి. రైతన్న, ఇది భవిష్యత్తు పంట. వ్యవసాయ
Next slide.
రైతన్న ఒక్కసారి
Next slide. So this is how we are using the technology so that this will easily penetrate into the farmers. Like children do watch cartoons because they like it and they easily get used to it. Similarly, if such type of videos are made on all different aspects, then it will be very easy for the farmer to understand and get acquainted with those concepts.
A fruit with worms wriggling inside is
this
one
we
of the
have done
most
it in
repulsive.
2012. Play చేయండి. సౌండ్ రావట్లేదు.
ఇప్పుడు వస్తుందా?
రావట్లా. వీడియో సౌండ్ రెండు రావట్లా.
వీడియో కూడా రావట్లేదా?
రావట్లా.
And when these worms start showing up in every other fruit, it would be nothing short of a disaster to the farmer and the consumer. This is the story of an insect that has devastated many fruit and vegetable growers in India, the fruit fly. The fruit fly has not only affected the domestic Indian markets for fruits and vegetables, but also international trade. Losses run into hundreds of crores of rupees. Important fruit crops like mango, guava, melons, and vegetable crops like gourds suffer from the onslaught of the fruit flies. Sometimes the losses may go beyond 80% for individual farmers. This makes it necessary for the farmers to understand the life cycle of the fruit flies so that appropriate strategies to manage their populations may be adopted. Like many other insects, fruit flies too have 4 stages in their life cycle: egg stage, maggot stage, pupal stage, and adult stage. Adult fruit flies are brightly colored and very attractive to look. They are active only during the day. Males form small groups on leaves under bright sunshine. They beat their wings and release chemicals that attract females. They are even known to make certain characteristic sounds to draw their mates. A female may mate with several males in her life. Female fruit flies have a relatively hard pointed structure at the tip of the abdomen called the ovipositor. As the name suggests, the ovipositor is used to lay eggs inside the fruits. The hard, pointed nature of the ovipositor helps her penetrate through the skin of the fruit. There are 2 economically important species of fruit flies in India: Bactrocera dorsalis, also called the mango fruit fly, and Bactrocera cucurbitae, which is commonly known as the melon fly. As the name suggests, the mango fruit fly is a serious pest of mango fruits. All varieties and hybrids of mangoes are susceptible to this pest. Similarly, the melon fly damages cucurbitaceous fruits like watermelon and muskmelon and vegetables like ash gourd, bitter gourd, ridge gourd, cucumber and others. After mating, the female fruit fly searches for a suitable fruit, punctures the skin of the fruit and lays a clutch of about 6 to 10 eggs. Then she moves on to another fruit and repeats the same actions. In all, a female mango fruit fly can lay 1,200 to 1,500 eggs in her lifetime. Interestingly, female fruit flies generally avoid laying eggs in fruits that have been oviposited previously by any other female. However, multiple oviposition can occur in the same fruit at higher population densities of the fruit flies. Tiny maggots hatch out from eggs in 1 to 3 days. Maggots are soft-bodied and do not have legs. They have a pair of hard, hook-like structures in their mouths. Using these mouth hooks, the maggots liquefy the fruit pulp and consume the juice. As in all insects, fruit fly maggots grow by the process of molting. Towards the end of the development time, the maggot punctures the fruit skin, comes out of the fruit and drops down to the ground. The maggot period lasts for 9 to 35 days. On reaching the ground, the mature maggot wriggles and burrows into the soil to a depth of about 5 centimeters. There, the last skin develops into a shell covering the entire body. The shell quickly becomes dark brown colored. This is the pupal stage. The pupa lasts for 14 days. At the end, the brightly colored adult opens the outer shell and comes out. The cycle of life starts once over again. For a farmer, it becomes important to note the symptoms of damage. In mango, the skin of the infested fruit softens in and around the areas of maggot activity. Slowly, and due to microbial action, the softened area turns from light brown to dark brown. As the rot spreads inside, the darkened area expands on the outside. Damaged fruits drop to the ground along with the maggots inside. Although infestation by fruit flies may commence when mangoes are just lemon-sized, the severity can be noticed only at fruit maturity stage. The symptoms of damage by fruit flies in cucurbits are similar to those observed in mangoes. There is an initial softening of the fruit skin followed by yellow to brown discoloration that extends as time progresses. In gourds, fruits exhibit bending and distortion when attacked by fruit flies. There are simple and effective ways of managing this pest. In case of mango fruit fly management, it is important to keep the orchard clean. All fallen fruits should be picked up every day and buried in a deep trench. Fallen fruits can also be burnt. This shall prevent further infestation by the population emerging from the fallen fruits. It is interesting to note that male fruit flies show a peculiar behavior. They visit plants like tulsi and nagalinga pushpa to drink the naturally available chemical called methyl eugenol. Methyl eugenol is known to increase vitality and competitiveness among male fruit flies. This behavior has been brilliantly utilized to trap and kill males. Today, fruit fly traps are commercially available along with artificial methyl eugenol. Such traps may be set up inside the orchard at the rate of 8 to 10 per acre. 2 drops of malathion liquid may be added into each trap. The synthetic methyl eugenol shall attract male flies into the trap while malathion kills them. Without males, the females cannot mate or lay eggs. This is a very safe, effective, and economical method of managing fruit fly populations. One has to carefully note that methyl eugenol is not effective against melon flies. In the case of melons and gourds, Q-lure impregnated traps should be used instead. Interestingly, both male and female fruit flies of both species are attracted to the sweetness of jaggery. Therefore, a solution with 10 to 20% jaggery and a few drops of malathion may be sprayed at certain places on the stem or on the canopy of the plant. The fruit flies get attracted to jaggery while malathion kills them. If the infestation by the fruit flies are too severe, especially when the fruits are still young, one spray of deltamethrin at the rate of 0.5 ml per liter of water may be administered. Care should be taken that no fruits shall be harvested for 2 to 3 weeks after spraying the chemical. If one seeks more information, please contact Dr. Kiran Kumar, Senior Scientist, Horticulture, Fruit Research Station, a fruit with...
Next slide. So this we had made it in 2012. Almost now, I'm a professor for 10 years when I was senior scientist. So at that time we sensed, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, yes, yeah. This at about 2010-12, we made this video sensing the alarming situation of the fruit fly. Now, I think most of you might have experienced, like eating guava and all, the seriousness of fruit fly. So if we can educate the farmers by making such type of videos, the penetration into the farmers will be very, very easy. And just imagine 15 years back, we made this video, and now we can make it in more advanced way. So that is how we need to come out with different animated videos so that they will be not boring to the farmers. They will understand it and they will see the picture or video very carefully with interest. So that is what we need to do. We need to penetrate into the farming community with such type of technologies. So another one, what we made at that time when there were no smartphones was we have come out with an app. Nowadays, there are apps with, like mushrooms, where pest and disease surveillance apps and all they have come. This we have made it in 2012, this similar one only. With we have made high definition photographs of all pests and diseases, and we have kept them in the we have at that point of time we have given tabs because we had no smartphones. So a farmer, when the horticulture officer goes to the farmer, he will show the pictures and he will match up with the real-time situation in the field. And next, he will make him understand that this is the problem and this is the solution which I need to go for. So next. Next. Yeah, this is how we register the farmer and one-time registration. Next. Next, now many have come out such apps. At that point of time, only Raichur, GKV, US, Raichur, and our university had such type of apps. Next. Next. So he'll be selecting the crop. Next. Pest or disease, whatever it is. Next. Next. So in that way, photos will be there, audio in local language will be there. Then the remedies will be immediately given to him. Next. So this is very, very important. Purushottam sir also was talking about data. If such type of data is being taken for 5 to 10 years, we will know exactly where the problem is, whether it is serious or moderate or so based on that, we can correlate with the weather parameters and we can forecast the modules. That was our concept. So understand the pest, then see the pest, what is the intensity of it, and then come out with the such type of data where we can predict the models, and if the situations are like that, we can alarm the farmers that this pest may aggravate this season. So you be careful and be in advance for protecting your fields with this such type of pests. So that was our intention of making, and this was in 2012. Next. So we are talking about smart horticulture and all those things. Illiteracy, one of the reason, and small holdings, that is also one of the reason where adaptation of the technology, which might cost for that smallholder 1 or 2 acres, is an issue. So that technology cost has to come down. And one more thing is there is a positive relationship between the adoption of precision agriculture or horticulture and farm returns for large scale farmers. So that is an advantage for large scale farmers where adoption and utilization for him, the cost will come down easily. So that is one of the reason. And another concept where we need to look out is our social dimensions, where we need to provide employment. So that is also one part where we need to look out. If we totally mechanize or totally automate, what will be that part where employment has to be done, that also need to be looked out. So next. So these are the challenges which are, so how we can go ahead. Then sustainability and innovation. Labor shortages are there, we know that. Then rising input costs, that also we know that. To import horticulture industry making technology a vital solution. So the future of horticulture is increasing, data driven from automated potting lines and robotic harvest to vertical growing systems and smart irrigation. So the change is inevitable. We have to change, and how best we can fit into it and come out with the technologies, and how best we can give it to the farmer is very, very important. That is where we will be successful. If we can give the technology in a proper way, then it will be very useful to the farmer and it will not be misused. So that is. So carbon credits also today, who is wasting, and farmers are the one who can come out with carbon credits. But as Purushottam sir was telling, it is still in primitive stage because there is no governing from the government side how the carbon credits have to be shared between the farmers and the companies which are coming out with the carbon credit assessment, because the purchasing companies or whosoever is purchasing will not directly involve in assessing or coming out with interaction with the farmers. There will be a middle party which will be assessing and giving the carbon credits, and they will hold, and with that, as sir was saying, it will be a proportion of distribution 40-50 or 50-50 or something less also, we don't know. So that we are trying for oil palm now, and immediately carbon credits will not be converted into cash. It will take 2 years. After 2 years only they will start giving, and that also varies with the crop and crop age and everything. So there are many factors which come into carbon credit. Like one is if it is paddy, it is how you are going to reduce the methane production. Even factories are where you can reduce the methane production. And another thing is agroforestry, biochar. Biochar is highly remunerative for carbon credits. Next. So who is going to pay and who is going to earn? So the factories, power plants, airlines, logistics, shipping, these are all the polluters, and they buy the carbon credits. So who can make it is the farmers, like agroforestry, mangrove projects. That I think in some places only it is plausible. In Telangana, that will not be there. Then biochar projects, then alternative wet drying paddy farmers. This 1 or 2 projects are going on in Telangana, one in Nalgonda, one by name Venkatesh, he is doing it. But still it's in primitive stage only. Then regenerative agriculture. So these are the scopes where there is a possibility of carbon credits. And that we are trying to work out how best the farmer can be safe, because most of them are coming, many players are coming, but there is no assurance that the amount is going to the farmer. So their farmers are losing. So this is a bit a sensitive issue, but this has a scope in the coming days. Next. So if you look at horticulture crops, mango has a good 5,000 to 8,000 per acre per year can be earned. Oil palm also 4,000 to 8,000 can be earned. Sweet orange, acid lime, cashew, such crops, there is a possibility of earning carbon credits. But how this has to be shared between the farmer and the company which is assessing, that discussion is going on, because it may be 40-50, 40-60 or 50-50. We don't know how it will come up, and there government has to intervene, because as of now there are no guidelines. Maybe government of India is planning within 1 year or 1.5 years, they may come out with the guidelines. If those guidelines come out, then there is a possibility of how best we can go way forward for these carbon credits. Next. Next. Yeah, Purushottam sir also was talking about packaging. This is very, very important in horticulture crops, because they are highly perishable. 95 to 99% moisture will be there. So we talk about modified atmospheric packaging, modified RH packing also, where we try to see that the carbon dioxide and O2 levels are maintained, where the fruit will not go into anaerobic condition. Once if it goes to anaerobic condition, then the fruit will be lost. So it has to be maintained like a dead component, but it should not be dead. That is the R&D which is going on with laser perforation and all. And most of the bags we have modified atmospheric packaging bags have come out, which are being successfully used in ambient condition as well as in refrigerated condition. So this is one aspect where we need to see how the fruit behaves or vegetable behaves, and based on that, the laser perforated bags are being manufactured. Earlier, they were only made in India. Also, they are making this bag. Next. So this is how the entire system goes, the traceability up to the level of traceability. That gives a credibility where we can earn money, more money, because traceability is very, very important. Nowadays, the importers, we are in the hands of importer, because they put the guidelines which are being maintained by the APIDA. APIDA will be the nodal agency. And if any fruit or vegetable has to be exported, the guidelines will be given by each country, and they vary from country to country also. And those have to be maintained by us. Until and unless those guidelines are maintained properly and proper traceability is there, then only we'll be getting proper. For example, I'll tell, for mango, if we need to export 1 ton of mango, it will cost around 10 lakhs. In that 10 lakhs, 6 lakhs will be going for freight charges only. The remaining things for the farmer and all, then logistics and all, everything if it goes well, the importer also will be getting around 1.5 lakh. And if one container is lost because of some mischief, then he has to sell 10 containers to make up that loss of 1 container. So that sensitive is the issue. So for export, we have to be very, very careful and follow all the quarantine rules. And why I showed that fruit fly video is, fruit fly is one of the major quarantine pests which will not be permitted. If that area is under fruit fly affected area zone, if it is identified, then the importers will never accept the fruit or vegetable from that area. And unfortunately, the other countries, they see this not come to that level, and we try to see at farmer level only how to manage and all. So it should be a community-based management. Otherwise, we will never control these problems, and they keep on aggravating in a perpendicular way, and it will be a very, very serious issue. Next. this is what we were talking, smart packing, advanced sensors will be used, blockchain integration will be there, sustainable smart packing, so all these components are, the concept will be tracking. So, and the next coming generation will be like how much of water we have used to produce 1 kg of a product. Even that also they are going to monitor. Next. So if we look at this, harvesting, post-harvestment, consumer, production, everywhere the component which comes into it is quality. Wherever, anywhere, if consumer talks about, he talks about quality. When it comes to production, we talk about quality. Fruit maturity, quality. Immature fruits, if harvested, there is no point. The taste will not be there and the farmer will be losing the price. And harvesting technologies, those are very, very important. Any damage to the fruit or vegetable, then the trader will never give us money. Then the most important thing is post-harvest management. So all of this clubbed together, the only component which is guiding or the force which is guiding all these components is quality. Next. Next. So if we look at holistic, like how the world is looking at the exports or importing the products, they look at food safety, environmental factors, social factor, all put together, they look at. If these factors are not being followed, then they will not import our products. That is where we are losing our money. Next. So like if we are going to export mangoes, the CFB boxes, the specifications, everything will be given by them. The netting, how it has to be, how many cages have to fit into that box. All those things will be specified, and how many fruits have to be there per kg. All these are very, very clearly specified. That is the technology which is coming in. Very specific. Consumer is the king who will be dominating. And once if the farmer matches that consumer with the available technologies, then we can demand the consumer. Next. The processing chains, all these are coming nowadays. This is a mango processing export unit. Next. So then palleting and all are very much streamlined. How many boxes have to be there on a pallet and all. Next. Then transportation. This is very, very important. Even in this transportation, tracking with the sensors will be available. Whether the temperature is being properly maintained or not, all those things will be tracked. Then only they will accept our product. Next. Then cold rooms and ripening chambers. Nowadays, we are talking about carbide, which is not safe for use. Because people may say, what is wrong in using carbide? The simple logic is carbide is under industrial grade. It is not under food grade. So there is no discussion about it. If at all it has to be brought under usage under ripening, then it has to be brought under food grade. That will be never done, and there is no discussion. So if anybody asks you why carbide should not be used, the only answer is it is not under food grade. There is no discussion. What is going to happen? We have been using it ages and all. Those discussions, we have to put a full stop to them. Because it is not under food grade, there is no question of discussion. That message has to go very, very clear. Next. So this we were talking about fruit flies, use of pheromones and all. And this, the intensity of fruit fly, every crop is demanding this, vegetable or fruit. Very simple technologies, but very effective. Next. So challenges in adapting advanced horticulture technologies, high cost. This we have, I think we have seen this slide. Next. Then the road suitability and innovations, labor shortage and rising input cost. How best and how safe we will shift is very, very important. Next. So if we look at the change, we were with plows and cattle. Now we are talking about IoT technologies and all, managing the irrigation with sensors and all. So there is a very fast change in the agriculture and horticulture system. And to what level we can maintain this, and what are the problems which are going to come, we need to predict them. So, and understand them, so that we can effectively use all these technologies and successfully make the farmer a successful farmer with competitive prices and good margin of returns. Next. Okay, thank you. We can have questions.
Audience, session is open for questions. Yeah, you can get the PPT for further reference, ma'am.
Yeah, it's already, I have shared the PPT.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. This is Satish.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, మీరు ఇందాక చెప్తున్నారు like modified atmospheric packaging.
Yeah.
How far it is for the fruit crops such as anjeer?
Yeah, here there are few crops which will require low temperature.
Okay.
There are few crops which may require modified packaging. So if suppose mango and anjeer and all, they don't need. You have, if you can understand, there are two types of categories: climatic and non-climatic fruits.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So like mango, anjeer and all, they don't sustain in that MAP bags. They require low temperature. For anjeer, it is 4 degrees where the shelf life will be increased, and for mango, it is 12 degrees. Whereas if it is pomegranate like fruit, you can have the MAP bag as well as temperature. When it is stored at 4 degrees, the fruits can be kept even up to 6 months. That is how each fruit will have its own requirements and demands.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any other doubt?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, you talked about avocado. It's coming from foreign country, the plant. But most of the plant, I
was not talking about the plant. I was talking about the rootstock.
Yes, rootstock, sir. So, but many times the rootstock directly coming, the private nursery people, they are coming directly bringing it from foreign land, and they are just distributing to farmers.
That is happening, but that cannot be considered. It has to go through the quarantine.
Right, sir.
It has to be under observation. The things which are being taken, which are coming out of the way, I don't think we have a control, and I cannot discuss on that also.
But sir, if farmer want avocado plant or such kind of high value horticulture plants, so from where they have to contact, or from where they have to purchase this kind of?
As of now, this rootstock, what I was talking about, still one company has an MOU with the Israel company, and it is still under R&D. So we cannot, in Telangana, only in Sadashivpet, one farmer is doing it, but still he is not into commercial angle, because that has to be tested. Particularly in fruits, it's not very easy to come out with a technology or any variety or its sustainability in the environment, because 2 generations it will take. In hot temperatures, the green type will come. The green one will come, but the problem is the hash, which is purple color, that has more. The concept of eating avocado is for free fat, whereas green will not have that percentage of fat. That is the only problem. But green is coming up very well in high temperatures. The green one.
Thank you, sir. But green one is Mexican avocado, sir?
The bulb type. We call it as bulb type.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Kiran sir, but what they say is in case of the oil palm, it is said to rise the LDL cholesterol level, sir, which is not good for health.
No, that is a wrong concept. And majority of the consumption in the entire world is palm oil only. So when it comes to oil, we need to term it as palm oil. When it comes to plant, we need to say oil palm. We need to reverse it. And the demand next in the coming days, if it nowadays it is used in jet blending of even Malaysia and all, they are blending it. If that blending is there, then the shortage of oil will be there. And next, trials are going on jet fuel. If that is a success story, we don't know to what extent the prices will go of oil palm. So definitely that concept is wrong, because maximum whatever the oil is being used in hotels or wherever it is oil palm only. Palm oil, sorry.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Any other doubts from the participants?
Yes, ma'am. I have one question.
Yes,
sir. If someone want to go for high value horticulture, what will the precaution or precaution someone have to take? Your advice, sir.
Yeah, first thing he has to go and see, first he has to decide which crop he wants to grow, and the farmer who is already growing, first let him grow and go and learn there. Then only he has to take the decision and go forward. Because you are talking about high value. It needs a lot of investment. Until and unless proper study, they should not step in.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have my own doubt here. So the next phase of horticulture, geographical conditions as well as the other constraints. So we have to go for the indoor cultivation of the horticultural crops, whatsoever it may be, under the controlled conditions, more specifically indoors. So in that context, we are talking about hydroponics, vertical farming, and most of these kind of concepts. Horticultural crops are fit into this kind of farming methods. But are our farmers are ready? One thing, because again, I am raising this apprehension. By 2047, our aim is 30 and odd trillion US dollars economy, and the growth rate of agri and allied sectors, which is very poor, hovering between 4 and 4.5. That has to be catapulted. That is another thing. And I had an apprehension that these technologies, high-end technologies, whatever we are talking about, vertical farming, hydroponics, aeroponics, still not demystified. So under all these, what you call unfolded conditions. So what is your, how we can look at the next gen horticulture high value of farming? So especially by the small and marginal farmers, which is who are the dominant players in our Indian context.
Yeah, sir. Right now, we don't have to. This we are main urban farming we are talking about. When it comes to urban farming, terrace gardening, vertical farming, hydroponics and all, they fit into urban culture as of now. So if you want a quality product, then such type of vertical garden, hydroponics, terrace gardening, all these things can be implemented in the urban vegetable cultivation. So that is where now we are concentrating. So if you can grow your own vegetables, like if we take our state example, their production area is coming down. It was 2 years back, it was 1.5 lakh. Now it has come to 50,000. So the production of, and we are depending more on other states for vegetables. So such type of things, if they are encouraged and terrace gardening and all are done, so then that will be an advantage for the urban people to come out with best vegetables. There, as of now, That is the target of vertical hydroponics or terrace gardening. So not to the level of farmers.
Yeah, of course, the farmers, they are following high density planting and drip, of course, smart irrigation systems. They are adapting to the different kind of orchard crops. But the quantum what we are getting, the quantum of the production per unit area, whatever we are getting, probably you have somewhere you have very nicely highlighted the nutritional security is more important, equally food and income security. So with this quantum of the production, can we ensure the nutrition security for the 1.4 billion population of our country?
Yeah, when it comes to ultra high density, best example is Goa. Generally, our national average is only 4 tons per acre. So when it comes to ultra high density, 2000 plants per acre, it has gone to 16 tons per acre with the same quality. It's only management. Like if we go for, if I want 12 tons per acre, then how many fruits have to be on the tree? What should be the size of the fruit? All these things we have to predetermine. If I say I need to take only 5 kgs from this plant, the remaining fruits, I need to thin them, trim them. There we get the excellent quality. Suppose it is normal spacing of 10 meters or 5 meters, whatever, there we may be getting 50% good quality and 50% either way, small size fruits or of not quality. But here we are assured of getting 100% quality because we will be monitoring each and every tree. That is the advantage. That's what we need to understand the technology and then only go for it. Otherwise, we should not go for that. Traditional method is the best way.
Yeah, one more last question. As you are the authority on the oil palm, so what is the scope of automation in the oil palm? Because now the oil palm is a passion crop. Everyone is very passionate about taking up the oil palm by replacing whether paddy, cotton or the sweet orange district like Nalgonda. So what is the, now without automation, we cannot do any kind of cultivation on the ground. So what is the scope of automation, the degree of automation till now it is happened, still there is what the extent of automation in near future in oil palm crop, please?
Yeah, first thing is no water, no oil palm. Remember that. Next is no drip, no oil palm. And the automation and all, already we use microjets and all for oil palm. So automation is also being used by the farmers to on and off the motors and all. So that is coming up, but the condition given by Telangana government is no water in summer, no oil palm, no drip, no oil palm. These are the conditions where we are strictly following. If the farmer is not having sufficient water, the other alternative what we are saying is if he has fluctuations in the bore, then go for the farm ponds to maintain the consistency in the flow of the sprinklers.
But is there any government support?
Yes, 100%. Only oil palm is having 100% support. Almost 46,000 change the farmer will be getting. And apart from that, farm pond and all are the other components which are given in a different subsidy component.
It's a good intervention. When the support is there from the public sector system, then the adoption rate also will be enhanced.
And this year, Telangana was on the top list in area expansion. And the total area now, as of now, it is more than 3 lakhs. And this happened within this. And it has gone to 3 lakhs and above. So you can understand. And how many companies have come up here? Almost the entire, all the districts are under oil palm. And nearly 14 companies are there playing, and the major player is TG Oil.
Yeah, very nice. If that is the situation, probably there is a paradigm shift in the supply value chain of the oil palm. Then the per liter palm oil, as you have told, the palm oil should come down, the price of the palm oil, if that is the case. Now it has been expanded up to 3 lakh acres. Can we visualize in near future the oil price will come down?
No. Whatever the 3 lakh acres, it won't be sufficient for Telangana only. For the entire country, we are importing more than 70 to 80% oil even today. If there are such issues like war and all, the oil prices will immediately shoot. So the concept of introducing national mission on edible oils is self-sustainability. So as of now, even if this 3 lakhs goes to 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs also, we will not be self-sufficient. And one more thing is assured price, assured income. The farmer will be knowing what price he will be getting, and the company has to mandatorily take the produce. Otherwise, government intervention will be there. Government will take the responsibility of taking the produce.
Yeah, very nice. As of now, there is a favorable ecosystem is prevailing for the oil crop.
But one condition, in summer, there is no water, don't go for oil palm. Suppose you have 10 acres of land and even in summer, you are comfortable for 2 acres, then you can straight away go for that 2 acres and the remaining you can go for your traditional cropping.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, for this fruit fly management, what about this pheromone gel technology, sir? Slow release pheromone gel technology. I think that is also doing well in.
Yeah, now the technology, the video which we have shown is 12 years, 15 years back.
Yes,
now
yes.
the technology, we have a company called ATGC in Genome Valley.
Yeah, yeah.
They have come up with excellent technology where paste is being given. Like male annihilation technology, males get confused and females get confused. So that now the simple application of that one paste as a dollop on the branch, it will maintain for 3 months.
Yes. Yes.
That technologies are there now, and that is a patented one.
Yes, sir.
And there are many companies which are supplying pheromones now.
Yeah. So that person, Mr. Shashidhar, he took a session in our organic farming class training program conducted online by EEI. So with his suggestions, many of the farmers have taken up and it is working well, sir, in most of the fruit crops. That is very good. Okay, any other doubts from the participants? Or any questions in the chat box? Let's see. If there are no doubts, then shall I express my vote of thanks and close the session? Sir, before I tell a very formal vote of thanks, I would like to mention that under the pathways to net zero horticulture, you have given very good insights on the circular economy, then low carbon post-harvest management, and the continued challenge of this post-harvest losses that you are expressing for the past 3 decades is really a thought-provoking thing, sir. And you have also quoted the immense potential of the vertical farming and hydroponics. These are truly enlightening. And sir, when you look in the Amazon, for the urban dwellers, they are very customized small models of hydroponics. So that can be installed indoors. They are available at a very reasonable price of 2,000, 3,000. So that can be installed indoors and where some leafy vegetables can be cultivated. So that is very nice, sir. And also he emphasized on environmental security, which is taking precedence or more priority when compared to the food security. As per the global standards is also very thought-provoking. And also we greatly appreciate your discussion on automated transplanting machines and also the use of drones in polyhouses for both crop monitoring and stress monitoring. And very good insights you have given. And thank you so much for your very practical session, sir. So our participants will share your phone number with our participants. So if they have any doubts, they'll be in touch with you, sir. Sir, Jagan Mohan Reddy, sir, do you have something to share with the participants? Or
That is there, but now really we have been enlightened on what's going on across the canvas of high-tech agri and horticulture, as well as what is our preparedness, where we are lacking, where still there is a scope to enlighten our farmers. This is an interesting two sessions are very interesting. What you call it has ignited our thoughts. Really, which is not there in the field. And my request for all the extension officers who are attending over here, that we have to do a lot of work to enlighten the farmers on all these technologies. At the end of the day, the end user, if he doesn't adopt all these innovations, technologies, it doesn't have any relevance or the sanctity. It is only when they have seen the light of the day, reach to the field, then definitely we will get the dividends. And whatever we are aiming for, again I am repeating, and I am very much rhetoric about it. Whatever we are visioning, the highest or the leading economic state of the globe with the $30 trillion economy by 2047. If we don't adopt all these technologies, probably we will be lagging behind in achieving such kind of a ambitious goal. Thank you for the speakers for enlightening.
Hello, sir. A feedback form పెట్టండి సార్ ఇందులో చాట్ లోని వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో
posting a Google form in the chat box. I request all the participants to please attempt that Google form so that we will be knowing the relevance of the today's webinar for the present context, present challenges, how we can improve it further. Raj garu అది పోస్ట్ చేశారా?
చేశారు సార్.
చేశాను.
So I request all the participants. I think Dr. Vasanta may offer the formal vote of thanks, but otherwise there is an overwhelming response, and I must thankful for all the officers who are attending here with our invitation. Vasanta, go ahead.
Yes, sir. A small formal vote of thanks from my side on behalf of the EI. Respected dignitaries, distinguished resource persons, esteemed guests, officers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have come to the close of this enlightening webinar. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. My first thanks goes to our Director of EI, Dr. M. Jagannath Reddy garu, for gracing this program and giving his valuable visionary guidance, both in selection of the topics and the speakers also, and his valuable presence throughout the webinar, almost for 3 hours. I also express my sincere appreciation to the officials from the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, who is funding this entire Extension Education Institute, because of whom we are able to conduct such kind of webinars. I think, I don't know whether they are online or not, but my sincere thanks to you all, sir. And presentations and practical experiences have greatly enriched our understanding of high value agriculture and horticulture, the today's topic. And I extend my gratitude to all participants for your enthusiastic participation, interaction, and your questions in the chat box, and your keen interest throughout the webinar. Your active involvement has made this program meaningful and successful also. I also acknowledge the dedicated efforts of our organizing team and the technical support staff, whose behind the screen contributions ensured for the smooth conduct of today's program. With these words, I once again thank each one of you for your valuable time and support, and we look forward to your continued association with EI Hyderabad in our future programs. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. And I request all the participants to fill up the feedback form and submit. I think some of the participants have already submitted.
Raj garu, please don't shut down the window of this webinar till all the last participants submits the Google form, please.
Okay, sir.